to kick off to the high-scoring San Diego Chargers. Don Criqui with John Brody as Von Schaman kicks off for Miami. James Brooks, the brilliant rookie from Auburn, takes it across the 20. Excellent special teams play by Miami as linebacker Steve Potter comes in, makes the knockdown. And the Chargers, Air Coryell, piloted by Dan Fouts, number 14, come out onto the field. His runners are Chuck Muncie and James Brooks, and they're both outstanding, as you know. And so are the wide receivers, Charlie Joyner and Wes Chandler. The tight end, Kellen Winslow, is an all-pro who breaks records. Shields, Wilkerson, Masick, White, and Washington take care of Coryell's offense, and their quarterback, Fouts, has only been sacked 19 times. Pitch back to Muncie. And Chuck Muncie on a first 10-10 play takes it across the 25-yard line to about the 26. The Dolphins consider stopping Muncie in the running game and forcing Fouts to pass a #1 priority. Doug Betters, Bob Baumhauer, and Kim Bokemper across the defensive front for Miami. Brodzinski, Roan, Dewey, and Gordon back the line. Fulton Walker, rookies at one corner, Gerald Smalls the other, and the Blackwood brothers, Lyle and Glenn, are the deep backs. Don Shula and his Dolphins set to go on the home field. They're defending right now. Second down. Here's a penalty marker. They go right back to Muncie. He doesn't get much. Got out to the 28-yard line. During this season, Chuck Muncie ran for over 1,100 yards, averaged 4.6 yards a carry. As you see, the call by referee Fred Wyatt is against San Diego. Muncie scored 19 touchdowns rushing, #1 in the NFL. David Woodley getting that hand ready, John.
False start, 67. Second down.
He knows the importance of his play to the outcome of the game today, Don. But when you take a look at Fouts, the #1 offense in the National Football League this year, and in my opinion ever, and the stats bear that out. I don't think there'll ever be another quarterback that averages 300 yards a game throughout a 16-game season. I think you'll see him use a lot of motion. He'll use it to try and get Miami to audible into different types of defenses. They don't like to do that, but they are very active. He wants to put a little burden on them. Here you've got Joyner in motion now.
Second down and about 12. Here's a swing pass to Muncie. The Miami defenders close in, and Muncie struck hard but keeps on going. Here's a penalty marker coming in. Use that play a lot where they'll swing Muncie out. Nothing good downfield. You see Muncie's numbers. He's caught 43 balls. That was his 44th reception. He's been involved in a lot of offense, 1,500 yards worth.
And a lot of touchdowns, pal.
19.
You take a quarterback that's throwing 33 touchdowns, and we're going to get a first down on a face mask call. You have to have a guy like this to really make everything effective. This is the dimension that's changed the whole San Diego offense. 19 touchdowns throughout the season. Chuck Muncie's the man that's responsible for, I think, putting their offense over the hump.
Face mask call goes against Miami.
Number 40, first down.
Dolphins are the least penalized team in the National Football League.
And have been for the last 6 years, Crick. Now that means it's not a fluke. Okay?
An interesting converse to that, though, John. Oftentimes, teams that win the Super Bowl are some of the most penalized teams because they're the most aggressive. Teams like Pittsburgh and Oakland.
That's right.
It is now first down and 10 for the Chargers. The unbelievable San Diego offense would set 10 National Football League records. Fouts has a problem. He doesn't like to run, but this time he has to, and he throws a strike to Kellen Winslow at midfield. A 17-yard gain, and now some stuff comes in after the play. Boy's getting a little exercised early. Winslow, he's going for extra bases all the time.
I'm going to be interested to see what the penalty is. Here we see Dewey. He's doing what he does best. From his linebacker position, they're putting a blitz on Fouts. They force him out of the pocket. And Mike Kozlowski, number 40, the defensive back in the nickel situations, got Winslow man-to-man, I think, throughout most of the afternoon, and he's got his hands full. You don't see Danny rolling out very often. It was a very correct call, Don. He caught the ball inbounds, but he had already stepped out of bounds. When that happens, you're an ineligible receiver.
Don Coryell, somebody here in Miami, wrote he's got the expression on his face like a man whose shoes are a couple sizes too small. But his players love him. It's second down and 10. Here's Muncie turning upfield. And the Dolphins, who've been shutting teams down time and again in the second half of the season, put the knock on Chuck Muncie. A.J. Dewey, one of those big, rangy Miami linebackers. Dewey at 6'4", 245 pounds out of LSU. The really defensive lineman size. He was that when he came up, A.J. Dewey. And he will also rush the passer from an up-close position.
Don, you know, over the years, the really outstanding coaches don't get too technical, too concerned with specifics in a game of this sort. Even though they've had a couple weeks to prepare, they want to make sure the intensity level stays high so they don't give them a lot of problems to think about. And you've seen that in the first series of plays today defensively for Miami.
Dolphins apparently confusing Fouts because he took too long to get the snap away, and then you saw him fumble the snap. So the Chargers misfiring a little bit early in the game.
False start, 67.
It was the 30-second clock you saw superimposed on the screen. The Orange Bowl getting a workout this weekend. A great, great Orange Bowl, the 48th renewal of that college football classic last night as the Clemson Tigers win the national championship with their victory over Nebraska, completing a dream season 12-0. 80,000 there last night, and again today. The Orange Bowl is jammed, and the Dolphins historically have been awful tough to beat when the building sold out. Under Shula and sold out Orange Bowls, they've won 20 games and lost just 2. Third down and 13 coming up for San Diego. Fouts takes a look way downfield, gets it away. Wes Chandler goes up and gets the ball, and he's inside the 25-yard line. Wes Chandler with a brilliant acrobatic move makes the big play, and the Chargers roll.
All right, how do you stop them all, right? You've got 2 backs to cover, 3 wide receivers that have gained over 1,000 yards throughout the year. You can't stop everybody if you give Fouts some time. You see Chandler come down, makes an outstanding move to the middle of the field. Now, this is a perfectly thrown ball, but a great catch. Very few receivers would have taken it in and made it look so easy. He does for a 54-yard gain. What we say at the beginning of the game, the way you stop Fouts in group is keep the ball away from him. Miami hasn't had a chance to control it yet.
Not yet. They've not had their hands on the ball, and the Chargers get the big long yardage play, the 54-yard gainer. Now they're threatening. No score in the first quarter. Here's Muncie. Guards pull out with great defensive play. Fulton Walker, the rookie cornerback from West Virginia, makes the open field tackle and a direct hit on big Chuck Muncie, the knockdown for a loss on the play, as the ball will be spotted outside the Miami 25-yard line. Loss of 3 on the play. It'll be second down and 13. Don Coryell's in his 9th year as a head coach in the NFL. First at St. Louis, now at San Diego. 5 of his teams have won divisional champions, including this San Diego team, which is AFC Western champion.
They've all done it throwing, too.
They leave the hotel throwing, Dan Fouts and company. Fouts stands in, drills it out, and Kellen Winslow makes the reception down to the 15-yard line, as again the Chargers strike.
A.J. Dewey again as a linebacker trying to put pressure on Fouts. Number 77, what he does best is get after the quarterback. Fouts knows that. When you do that, you leave a lane for your quarterback to throw. Even though Winslow is double covered, you can see Kozlowski, it's his job to stay in the shadow of Winslow all day long. That's a tough order. Winslow makes a fine catch, 3rd and 2.
Interesting match. In the last 5 games, no team has gained 200 yards in a single game passing against the Dolphins. San Diego averages 300 yards a game. That's an average. Muncie eludes the tackle, and Muncie is finally hit on a hard strike by Fulton Walker. Walker, a 5'11", 193-pound cornerback, has been a target area for opposing offenses because he's a rookie. He's replacing Don McNeil, Miami's best defender, who's out with a broken arm, but could see some action today.
What he is doing and what he did do is he possibly gained them an extra 4 points with that tackle. He made a great play earlier in this drive. He is aggressive. When you have a running back that's 230 pounds, you don't stand around and try to wrestle him to the ground. You take your shot and you hope you hit. That's what he's done twice.
See Benerska's numbers. He's been very good this season. Straightaway shot. First points are up. Ralph Benerska hits a 32-yard field goal for the San Diego Chargers, and with 9:49 left to play in the first quarter, San Diego capitalizing on the long strike. The 54-yard pass play finally comes up with a field goal.
Right guard.
Hovering 1,000 feet over the Orange Bowl is the Goodyear Blimp Enterprise from Pompano Beach, Florida. Celebrating his birthday today is Captain Patrick Henry of the Enterprise, and cameraman Al Camoin. It has been a spectacular week of weather. South Florida putting its best foot forward for a big week of Orange Bowl celebration and now National Football League playoff action. The Chargers come down the field and finally connect on Benerska's 32-yard field goal. It's a 3-0 game. San Diego. Benerska set to kick off, and Fulton Walker, the rookie, is back deep for Miami. A high kick, it'll carry short. Blockers form in front of Walker. He takes it at the 8. 15 and the 20. Not done till he crosses the 25 out to the 27-yard line. So Fulton Walker having a good year returning kicks for Miami, averaging 25 yards. A kickoff return takes it back, and David Woodley comes out. Tony Nathan's been missing recently with a knee problem, but he's back today. Andra Franklin, the rookie from Nebraska, is his big fullback and blocker. Duriel Harris has had a knee problem, but he's ready to go, and so's Nat Moore, the other wide receiver. Ronnie Lee starts at tight end, but they use 3. Giesler, Kuchenberg, Denard, Newman, and Laxo are the offensive linemen for Miami. They're intact for the first time since October. The last time this offensive line was together, Miami had 529 yards offense against Dallas, a record. Franklin tries to go wide, but Big Louie Kelcher runs him down. Big Louie from SMU's had his injury problems this year.
I'll tell you, he can play pretty well injured, but when he's healthy, as he says he is right now, he is awesome. Remember, he's made All-Pro a couple times, and every offensive lineman recognizes and respects him.
They're the defenders for Miami. For San Diego, Willie Buchanan and Mike Williams at the corners. Deep backs, Glenn Edwards and Pete Shaw. Lyndon King, Bob Horn, Woodrow Lowe, the backers. It's 2nd and 14. Here's Woodley running across the 30. Slides out to the 33-yard line. David Woodley, a very, very good runner. He shook up the Buffalo defense with his ability to run, and he likes to go straight up the field when the pass coverage is there.
This is something he has to feature. When Woodley's playing quarterback, he's got to run the ball to be as effective as he can be. Take a look. That's Bob Kuchenberg, 67, on Big Hands Johnson, number 79, another all-pro defensive tackle. When you break that plane, you've broken something. And Cooch is the guy that a lot of hope depends on, because he's been hurt for the past 5 or 6 weeks. They say he's healthy now. If he plays well, that'll nullify Johnson and help a lot.
They're looking for the big game from Kuchenberg, and now David Woodley has to run away from the problems that he cannot do it as Leroy Jones, 6'8". That's his number, and that's his height. Big body, they call him, 6'8", 265 pounds. San Diego's defense rates 27th, but in sacks they're near the top, had 47 this year.
And they played well lately, Don, and that's the encouraging part for San Diego. Don't think San Diego isn't aware that David Woodley has to get outside that pocket, and when he does, he can be very effective. Those defensive ends have been instructed to make sure they don't get around you unless the situation is extreme.
Tom Morris, rookie punter from Ohio State, hits the ball downfield. Back takes it not too deep. This is Wes Chandler, and he is all trouble in an open field, and Wes Chandler could go the distance. Wesley Chandler's inside the 10. He's in the end zone, and there are no markers down, and San Diego rips out to a 9-0 lead. This great athlete from New Smyrna Beach, Florida, and the University of Florida comes back to his native state and returns a punt 56 yards for a touchdown. He has 100 yards total offense already. You'll recall the 54-yard reception he had that set up the field goal.
Wes Chandler can do about anything with a football that you ask a man to do with once he's got it in his arm. Great receiver. You saw him catch a 54-yarder to set up the field goal. Now he takes a punt, returns it for a touchdown. And this is the one thing Miami didn't want to have happen. They get in a hole when they can't control the ball and control the pace of the game. Now you're really in trouble when you're playing San Diego, whether you be at home, away, or on the North Pole.
Well, Well, the troubles increase as the extra point is up and good, and with 7:24 left to play in the first quarter, the Chargers streak out to a 10-0 lead. That was the first time a punt has been returned against a Miami team for a touchdown in 6 years. We'll be back at the Orange Bowl after this. Wes Chandler just returned to punt 56 yards for a touchdown. And now the San Diego Chargers, a slight underdog on Miami's home field, have opened up a 10-0 lead. Don Criqui with John Brody in this AFC Divisional Playoff game. Here's the kickoff. Takes a hop back the wrong way. That might have touched a Dolphin.
It doesn't matter who it touched, Don. I couldn't believe the reaction of the special team. They're dodging the ball. They must think it's a punt. Now that's a mistake you just very seldom see, Donnie. The ball gets up in the air. Obviously, anybody knows once it goes 10 yards, it's anybody's ball. You can catch it on the fly. You can catch anything you want. The San Diego special teamers are backing off it. The Miami special teamers don't know where it is. It hit right where the wedge started. The people in the deep position never did get into a position to catch the ball. And Hank Powers, the man that's been their special teams guy over the last 4 or 5 years, how many games have started out this way in these playoffs where special teams have actually dictated the outcome?
Great ball, and the Chargers have it again, and now they're looking for some more. And here's a strike in the flat. As Fouts guns it out to Charlie Joyner, the veteran wide receiver from Grambling.
Let's watch Tom Orris trying to stop Chandler from scoring. You get an athlete like Chandler one-on-one with only even 7 or 8 yards to move in, he's gone.
Like trying to hit a puff of smoke.
You see, 56-yard return. Wes Chandler, once he catches the ball, is darn near as effective as getting to one. Orris found out 10-0 San Diego and going again.
It is all going the Chargers' way early in this game. Now they go to Muncie. He dips to the outside and is knocked down at about the 17-yard line. The strong safety Glenn Blackwood tackled him. 6:24 to go in the first quarter.
In a 5-second period of time, Don, I think I have seen 2 special team plays by Miami that I didn't see one of in the past 3 seasons. Now, I don't know what the effect of playoff games is on individual performance, but that's shocking.
Shocking to the Dolphins, that's for sure, as they find themselves down 10-0 at the outset. Muncie running hard, run down by A.J. Dewey. He was first tackled. First man to make the hit was Lyle Blackwood. But Muncie runs it down inside the 10-yard line. Got about 8 on the carry, so it's going to be second and short yardage for San Diego as they're knocking at the door again.
Don, we've mentioned throughout the season that San Diego used to have a bit of a problem once they got inside the 20 because they didn't have anyone that once they got to the door could open it. It's all changed.
Muncie with great speed and the size of a fullback. 6'4", 230 pounds. He's going to option pass it, loops it up. Wes Chandler broken up at the last moment. Glenn Blackwood, the strong safety, came over and averted another San Diego score.
All right, it was a poorly thrown ball. Muncie knows he's got his receiver so wide open. But Blackwood made an excellent defensive play, timing it just right, or it would have been a touchdown anyway. Chandler sets it up pretty well, slides right by the the cornerback rolling over. Blackwood makes a good play.
Now the Chargers go again, 3rd down and 2. Cappelletti's in, quick iron, it goes to the tight end, Kellen Winslow, just looping it over the middle of that big target. He's down to the 1-yard line, and it's a first down.
That's the dimension of Dan Fouts. You take a look at Kellen Winslow, you see if he gets inside the linebacker, as he does. Once you're inside the linebacker, it's nothing but a little dink pass over the middle. Easy way to pick up 6 critical yards.
Winslow, the man who's led the National Football League in receiving the last 2 years. Caught 88 this year, 89 last year. Next year he's going for bonus, going for 100. Muncie, nothing there. Don, it's no automatic when you get down to the 1-yard line against the real good defenses.
Take a look. They win at the line of scrimmage. Dewey gets penetration, stops Muncie, and by the time he gets underway again, the whole group's there.
We mentioned earlier he tied a National Football League record with 19 rushing touchdowns this year, Chuck Muncie. Now the Chargers set up a yard away from the Miami goal line. 2nd down and goal. Muncie again, touchdown San Diego, and all of a sudden with 3:59 to go in the first quarter, the Chargers have blasted this game wide open.
And it was made to look so easy, Don. Listen, this is a defense that's played as well as any in the National Football League in the past month. Offensively, the Chargers have just been the better group. Early in the ball game, even with the turnovers, Muncie runs it in the end zone untouched. And when you talk about blocks, the whole offensive right side of the line moves people into the end zone. Look at Winslow on Fulton Walker. Never got to the goal line to make a play.
Good block also by John Capoletti, and now the point after attempt by Benerski is getting a lot of work here early in this game. He has 5 points already, and the Chargers extend their lead. A commanding advantage for San Diego, a 17-0 lead over Miami. We'll be back.
Once again,
Don Criqui with John Brody back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. 3:58 to play in the first quarter, and San Diego's opened up a 17-0 lead. They've all been getting work. 54-yard punt return for a touchdown, the big play of this game.
That's right. As Bernischka sets the ball back on the tee, there is a slight wind. This is such a critical drive for Miami. They don't have to go out and throw all caution to the winds right now. What they have to do is try and get back in the ball game. If you recall, the one mistake that Ferguson made last week in the playoff game, they've got a 24-0 lead. He throws one interception. It changes the whole of the momentum, and the game ends in a Donnybrook. So
there's Tommy Vigorito taking a high, short kickoff. Vigorito breaks it out across the 35-yard line, so Miami starts in good field position at their 38.
That's the kind of play they need, just to get people excited, get their own offensive line generated.
There have been some wild comebacks in the wild card games. You recall last week when the Jets almost pulled it out against Buffalo after they were way down in that game, 24-0 at one point. And then Philadelphia rallied back but couldn't catch the New York Giants. Earlier today, Dallas annihilated Tampa Bay 38-0. Right now, Miami is trailing in the first quarter 17-0. 1st and 10 Dolphins. Woodley in the flat. Bruce Hardy, one of his tight ends, makes the reception at about the 44-yard line, a gain of 5. Woodrow Lowe, an Alabama linebacker, 51, was the tackler.
Well, you leave Hardy open for most of the afternoon, and Woodley will have a field day because that guy can run fine patterns from his tight end position. They're going to try to put a burden on the linebackers.
It's like Clemson fans there, John. Some of them haven't left here for a week.
I wouldn't want to leave either if I were them.
They had something to celebrate, and they did last night with gusto. Hand off to Tony Nathan, his first carry in some time, and Nathan on a 2nd and 5 maybe got a yard. Leroy Jones, 68, was on the stop for San Diego as the game clock is down to 2:55 and running. Oh, it happens fast when the great teams start to roll. You remember that Miami's defense had Fouts in the offense of San Diego in a 3rd and 14. San Diego looked to be in trouble in their own end, and then the perfect strike down the field to Wes Chandler for a 54-yard gain. Field goal was good subsequently. Then they recover a kickoff. Miami let roll, score a touchdown. Now here's a free ball, and San Diego has it. It's intercepted by Glenn Edwards. He's going in, unless Ed Newman can get him, and he does. Ed Newman gets him down at the 9-yard line.
Tell you what, if you drew it up on a drawing board and you lived in San Diego, you couldn't have drawn it up any better. I mean, every opportunity to make something happen for themselves has turned into a plus. 35-yard return. Pine Edwards, we mentioned earlier, has been one of the key reasons for their success late in the season defensively, and that's the way you get successful. You pick up the bobbles, you keep them from making the long play, get the big turnovers, and put yourself in a commanding position. Ed Newman making a pretty good play just to stop it from being a touchdown.
Hurricane season coming early in 1982 to Miami, Florida. San Diego hitting the Dolphins like a hurricane. James Brooks runs hard and takes it down from the 11-yard line down close to the Miami 8. Bob Brudzinski makes the tackle for the Dolphins with 2:05 to play in the first quarter. Fouts checks over the sideline. Something's signaled into him. Fouts' numbers are beyond belief. He set records for total yardage, 4,800, 33 touchdown passes this season. Fourth highest in one season all time. George Blanda holds the record. He threw for 36 at Houston way back in the early 60s. Fouts was going for 34 there to Wes Chandler.
He doesn't take long to get rid of the ball, Don, and that time he went to Wes. Brooks is standing out there on the sideline saying, hey, I'm standing all alone. But it's a two-step drop, throw the ball on a one-on-one situation. He'd already committed. Really didn't have much of an area to throw it.
That's why he's so hard to get to. He throws it so quickly.
There's no key. The quarterbacks that can go back, know where they're going, and get rid of the ball, not only get a lot less sacks, but I think hit people right on the break a whole lot more often.
I asked Don Shula if he'll blitz him much. He says he knows what to do with it. You blitz him. Third down. 7 for the first down. Swing pass to James Brooks. Foot race with A.J. Dewey. And San Diego's in the end zone again.
You kind of get the feeling that Brooks went back in the huddle and say, hey, I don't know what the linebacker's doing, but nobody covered me on the last play. Fouts utilizes that information, slides a little slide pass out to him against a blitz. Nobody was fast enough to handle it. A.J. Dewey was responsible for being man-on-man with Brooks. That's a mismatch picked up by Fouts. They get 6 more. Now it's 23-0.
Fouts has put it up 6 times, has completed 5 for 79 yards and that touchdown. His 34th touchdown pass of the season. Ralph Benerska out there again, and once again he is right there. And so with 1:31 left to play in the first quarter, the Chargers stunning Miami, opening up a 24-0 lead. The Dolphins will try again on offense, and we come back to the Orange Bowl after this.
Some people thought it was risky.
Back at the Orange Bowl, didn't take long for the Chargers to score yet another touchdown. After the interception by Glenn Edwards, they're in the end zone 3 plays later from 11 yards out, and it's 24-0 San Diego. Here comes Vigorito once again for Miami. Vigorito gets out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. Tomorrow, the NFL playoffs continue on NBC with the second AFC Divisional Game starting at 12:30 Eastern Time. Bryant Gumbel reviews the playoffs on NFL 81. And then the Buffalo Bills, winners of last week's wild card game, take on the NFL's leading passer, Ken Anderson, and the Cincinnati Bengals. That's tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time on NBC Sports. Shockers today. Dallas blasting Tampa Bay 38-0, and now in the first quarter, San Diego has opened up a 24-0 lead over favored Miami. Dolphins on offense, 1st and 10. Screens it out. Tony Nathan started to run before he had the ball.
Don, it's been since 1968. Against Kansas City that anyone scored 24 points in the first quarter against a Miami football team. And these are the sort of things that have to happen when you there's the net, there's that offense, that's not points yet.
No.
But if they don't do something, it might get that way.
It's 1/4 that bad, though. Doug Betters on the sidelines. Miami's defense has been hit hard and often early in this game. There's a strike down the middle, first down Miami. The Dolphins go to tight end Joe Rose. Played a great game against the Bills, a 14-yard gain, and a big salute from the Miami following for a first down.
They've got to get the people in Miami excited. If they can do that, they can do something. Remember, this is the first down of the ball game. We're darn near out of the first quarter. Little Woodley to Rose pass over the middle for 14 yards. They've got to get some points on the board.
We must remember also that the Miami defense graded out 27th. The San Diego defense 27th in the NFL this season. Only Baltimore's was worse. Miami's going to score before this one's over. That we can be sure of. Here's Woodley. Not there, they're not. Another free ball. Miami got it back. They get it back at their 35-yard line, a loss of about 8 or 9 yards. Gary Johnson, 79, a Pro Bowler, came in on the rush.
Defensively in the secondary, San Diego's made some very good decisions because, as you see, Woodley's got enough time to throw the ball. Gary Johnson in pursuit of him. Now he stops, couldn't throw to the intended receiver, and by the time he went to his secondary, Johnson had him.
That was ruled a fumble, and the ball was recovered by Miami at the 35-yard line. So now it's second down and 18. And that will do it for the first quarter, one that was very forgettable as far as Miami's concerned. They'd like to forget it. San Diego had a Hall of Fame first quarter, and they lead the game 24-0. We'll be back to the Orange Bowl after this.
Sometimes I don't want my kids watching what's on TV, but they can still.
Back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, the highest scoring team in the National Football League, the Miami Dolphins, have given up now 24 points to this high-scoring San Diego team. The Chargers, John, hitting early and often.
I think if you drew it up, as we mentioned earlier, San Diego couldn't have dreamt for anything better to have happened. But we've seen it 24-0 before in a playoff game. It didn't quite end that way, so they have to get something started. But the game is a long way from over.
Most points Miami's ever given up in a quarter are since 68. Woodley throws over the middle. Vigorito can't quite get to the ball. Tommy Vigorito coming out of the backfield, and so it will be third down at 18 for Miami. Dolphins in a hole on the scoreboard and with the down in yardage right now.
I do not hold David Woodley responsible. That was a poorly thrown ball, but for the score at this time, I do know if they're going to win the ball game, it's not going to be with rollouts, setups, and quarterback runs. They've got a man like Don Strock who's sitting on the bench, who's pulled a lot of ball games out of the hat for Miami. He is a pure thrower. They're going to have to get into a situation where they throw the ball to Duriel Harris, Nat Moore, and occasionally run a draw play.
Well, let's see what they go to now on 3rd and 18. A straight drop, stunt in the defensive rush. And that stunt fools the blocking enough to get Woodley back inside the 30. Third sack of this game of David Woodley.
There you get the score to 24-0. Those defensive linemen getting their starting blocks and come. Number 79, Big Hands Johnson. Number 74, also Leroy Jones, 68, the first man to get a piece of Woodley. And Strock is warming up. And it makes sense, Don. It makes sense. Both of them complement each other very well. They have during the season. But Strock's the guy that can get the ball, get the scores for you quick.
Well, the Dolphins are quick to change pitchers if they're not moving. They've done it 5 times earlier this season. Now the punt downfield by Orris. He's happy to see that go out of bounds. You'll recall his last punt went to Wes Chandler. 54 yards later, Chandler and the football ended up in the end zone. Touchdown. We'll be back to the Orange Bowl after this. This could have been a shot from last night here in Miami when the 48th Orange Bowl was played. And Clemson comes in with a national championship. The Clemson Tigers coming up with the great victory and the perfect season. San Diego, 10 NFL records this year. Led the league in touchdowns, 61. Here goes Muncy as he breaks the Miami defense on a first down carry. Muncy is out from his own 27-yard line, out close to the 45-yard line, 18-yard gain.
Is there no stop? Now listen, they're running against an outstanding defense, one of the most well-coordinated groups in the league. He runs right by Bokamper, number 58, who's stuck on the block by the left tackle. Russ Washington has no problem with him. They pick up another first down, and on we go.
On the Chargers go, that's for sure. It's been that story all game long, and we have 13:40 to play in the first half with San Diego leading 24-0. Counts gets it away, free ball. Glenn Blackwood almost had it. Some highlight pictures of last night's Orange Bowl.
That number 94 up the top of your picture, you think he was a happy man at the end?
One of Clemson's middle guards, William Devane. There's some Cornhuskers. They came back, but not far enough. Coach Danny Ford, coach of the year at 33 years of age, coach of a national championship team. Some guys in the end zone and some people celebrating from Clemson, South Carolina. That whole state was in celebration. Second down and 10 now. Hand off to James Brooks, and he takes it straight ahead, crosses the 45. Baumhauer knocks him down after a short gain. Under Don Shula, Miami has been almost unbeatable here in the Orange Bowl. 81% of the games they've played under Shula, they've won. This is going to be one of the 19% they haven't, unless they get cooking. Bouts throwing. Kellen Winslow on 3rd down and 7 takes it across midfield, close to a first down but short of one. Glenn Blackwood and A.J. Dewey on the tackle for Miami. George Roberts, the next Dolphin, is out to punt now for San Diego. Roberts is what they term a 3-step punter. They went on a 2-step punter, so they got Orris. Roberts hasn't had one blocked, though, this year at San Diego. Gets it downfield. Vigorito lets it hop, and it's going to take a roll inside the 5 and finally into the end zone. So on the touchback, it comes out. 1st and 10 at the 20. 47-yard punt. 12:05 left to play in the first half. Back to the Orange Bowl after this.
This is no way.
This is Don Quickie with John Brody back at the Orange Bowl. National Football League playoff day for the Dolphins, and the Chargers in San Diego has ripped open a 24-0 lead with 12:05 to play in the first half. John?
We see Strock in under the quarterback, under the center right now. And if you're a quarterback in a situation like this, I expect him to go down the field, make something happen, get people excited. I don't think it'll do him any good to run the ball off tackle.
He's tall, rangy, throws very well, is not very mobile. He gets sacked pretty often. Here's a throw, and he makes the connection. Don Strock goes to Duriel Harris, a 16-yard gain and a Miami first down.
Not only was it a 16-yard gain, Don, it was a beautifully thrown ball. Duriel Harris runs that pattern with anybody in this league. Coming inside, blitzing situations, this didn't happen to be one, but he threw it right between the linebackers, caught Harris on the dead run. They picked up a first down. People are starting to stamp their feet.
Don Strock makes his first throw, a connection for a 16-yard gain and a first down. To the run. Tony Nathan turns to the outside. Almost turned the corner. Good defensive play by outside linebacker Lyndon King of the Chargers. Nathan led the NFL in average per rush, 5.3 yards.
What a great position to be in. San Diego can give you 3, 2, 4 yards and not worry much about it. That's been a problem with San Diego throughout most of the year. Lyndon King is good pursuit. Pulls him down for 2.
To make it 2nd down and 8. Eric Coryell has been flying today here in Miami. 24-0 in the second quarter. Dolphins with the ball, 2nd down and 8. Wide open is Tony Nathan. Nathan takes it all the way down to the 35-yard line of San Diego, a 27-yard gain.
Tell you who, you know who a play like that will help, Don? It'll help the offensive linemen. It'll help the young fellas that are sitting on the sideline. It's almost like you say, hey, Tony doesn't figure we're out of this ball game. Duriel Harris doesn't figure so. Strock doesn't figure so. Once you start getting that viewpoint throughout the group, a lot of stranger things have happened. But you have to have the viewpoint first.
Well, they've got something going, and they need something badly. It's 1st down and 10 for the Dolphins, 35-yard line of San Diego. Another pick. This time, almost a connection as Nathan comes out of the backfield. He caught 50 balls this season, had over 1,200 yards offense running and catching it.
Well-thrown ball, and Pine Edwards is playing a deep center field right now. When you get a man playing a deep center field, if you can beat the linebacker with a back, you've got nothing but room to run. Good call into a defense that is actually giving you the play, and you should take it.
Tony Nathan from Alabama in the backfield, along with Eddie Hill, another good pass catcher swinging out. 2nd down and 10. Here Here comes the rush. Strock stands in, puts it up, and it's knocked down by Lyndon King. He was going to Vigorito. Good defensive play by Lyndon King again.
A lot easier to cover a man when you don't have him one-on-one all over the field. That time Lyndon King had help. They were in a double zone with 2 deep safety men, 2 cornerbacks up tight. That means you've got 5 people in the short area, and you can defense play like that. Here comes Strock coming down the line. You see, King is from the inside out, but he's got help to the outside.
Miami's not converted a third down in this game for a first down. You see 0 for 3. 3rd and 10 Dolphins. Hands open. Great reception for a first down. Jimmy Cephalo. 18-yard gain and a first down.
Very important for Strock to get off to as fast a start as he did, replacing Woodley. Cephalo's always been an excellent pattern runner, good ball control type receiver. He comes out with his feet out of bounds, but he was pushed out by the cornerback. Good call by the official. You make the judgment, but if he hadn't been moved out, he'd had both feet in bounds. 1st and 10 on the 17-yard line.
So Jimmy Cephalo comes up with an 18-yard reception, and now the Dolphins get closer. 1st and 10. 17-yard line. Swing pass goes out. Eddie Hill has it. Penalty markers down to the 10-yard line. .09 to play in the first half. The marker came just as Strock threw the ball. Legal motion in the Miami backfield. So from a 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line of San Diego, it'll now be 1st and 15 from the 22.
Illegal motion, number 81, first down.
It's a throwing situation anyway. They've got 3 tries to get it 15 yards down the field, eventually in the end zone. Strock's been very impressive, throwing the ball swift, setting up right, putting the ball where it has to be thrown.
1st and 15.
They're coming, I think.
Miami takes it up the middle. Eddie Hill, a 210-pound runner out of Memphis State, came here from the Los Angeles Rams off the waiver list. Runs it inside the 20. Got back the lost yardage on the penalty. It's going to be about 2nd and 10 now. Chargers feel right at home here in Miami. Natural grass field, one of the best. That's what San Diego, of course, plays on in their home stadium.
And they've beaten Miami twice in a row here.
That's right. Last season overtime, and the last time they played it was 4 years earlier. 2nd down and just over 10. Strock to Eddie Hill. They don't get much if they got anything at all. Don Coryell.
This is one of those times that the umpire doesn't know where to go. Generally, he steps up, but Eddie Hill was forced inside, has to run over the top of him. It slows him down just enough to allow the pursuit to catch him. 3rd down and 10.
That umpire's a tough place to be. He stands right in behind the linebackers. It all comes at him. He can get caught up in the wash real easy.
What would you do if they don't pick it up here? Would you have a go at it on 4th down, or would you kick the field goal?
I think I'd have a go. 24-0. 3rd and 10. Strock gets it away. Pete Shaw almost had an interception.
Well, Shula's going to have a go at the field goal, and you can go either way right then, but the game is so early. There's still almost 40 minutes of playing time left. They need to get something on the board. Over 3 touchdowns behind. Strock got away with murder right here. He's in the grasp of a defensive lineman. I'm a little surprised they didn't call the ball dead. Pete Shaw will never have an easier attempt at an interception.
Just to get off the schneid, get that 0 off the board.
Yeah, I agree with that personally. I'm just testing you every once in a while. I want to know what you think about.
I'm going to go with Coach Shula here. Here he goes with Uwe Van Schamen, who's been super accurate. He's 20 of 21 from this distance, inside the 39. He He's right through the middle again. It's not a lot, but it's something, and the Dolphins are on the board. 24-3, but it is encouraging from a Miami standpoint. They moved the ball right down the field when Strock came in the game. 8:31 left to go in the first half as darkness starts to set in South Florida. We'll be back in the Orange Bowl after this.
In 1931, Texaco.
Back at the Orange Bowl, Von Schaman, who just hit the field goal for Miami's first points, ready to kick it off. It's 24-3. San Diego's in the lead. The kick goes downfield, and James Brooks takes off with it for the Chargers. Look out. Boy, he's a tough customer. James Brooks, 5'9", 180 out of Auburn. What a backfield he played in one year with William Andrews now of Atlanta and Joe Cribbs of the Buffalo Bills. All three of them in the same backfield. James Brooks, a number 1 who had a big rookie season.
I don't know whether it's the inept play of Miami on special teams or the outstanding play by San Diego. I think it's a combination of both, because you can see everybody's got a piece of a defensive player. Jim Jensen finally makes the tackle. Remember, he's the third-string quarterback, and he may get some action, not this year, but next.
Fouts takes a look, throws it over the middle, has another connection. Makes it to his tight end, Kellen Winslow. And linebacker Ernest Roan tackled him. Winslow, they deploy him as a wide receiver as much as he's a tight end.
Some teams you can sucker into playing it safe, trying to play ball control, but remember, Chuck Muncie is a little bit nicked up. They don't want to run him too much. Their offense is to throw the ball, and Dan knows how much time's left. He's going to keep firing.
He's been firing it very well. 11 passes, 8 completions for 104 yards and a touchdown. Second down and 3. Muncie. Did he get there? Looks like he did not with her spotting the ball, but he's not short by very much, and it'll be third down now, less than a yard. A.J. Dewey on the tackle. Game clock down to 7:28 to play in the first half.
Right now, it's really mandatory on Miami's defense to control the line of scrimmage. Okay, they've had a few things go against them. Here's Bob Baumhauer, one of the outstanding middle nose guards, going to the Pro Bowls, had a great season. He's got to be the anchor, and they've got to play outstanding defense in the line to get back in the ball game.
Chargers offense, John, as you're aware, was just unbelievable this year, scoring 61 touchdowns. They also led the league in average per play. They gained 6 yards in every offensive play.
And you know, I don't think it'll ever happen again, because a lot of factors have to be in focus. For a guy to average 300 yards a game throwing a ball, for a team to do the things that San Diego does, you have to have a defense that gives up enough points to keep you on the offensive. They've got that. And I mean, I don't think there'll ever be a group of personnel put together like this offensive group.
Well, when John Jefferson went to Green Bay, there was a big hole, but they quickly filled that with Wes Chandler. Third and less than a yard. Fouts goes over the top, and he's got it. Dan Fouts, 6'3", 210. Goes over the top and takes it ahead for a first down. Fouts now in his 9th year from Oregon.
Hey, he can fall forward all right. He was an excellent runner at the University of Oregon until he had a knee operation. When that happened, like with most quarterbacks that can run a little bit in their early years, he's elected to stay back there and stay clean, but he's taken an awful lot of punishment over the years. He's not very swift, but he's very swift getting rid of it.
He is that. Came in the 3rd round of the draft in a great year for quarterbacks. 1973, Burt Jones, Ron Jaworski, Joe Ferguson, Dan Fouts all came into the league that year. Fouts and Ferguson in the 3rd round.
Pretty stout group. When you got to go to the 3rd round to get Fouts and Ferguson. You know, it's funny. Kenny Anderson's having such a great year, all right, that you can't take anything away from him. But Fouts is having his best year, too. So you're talking about 2 quarterbacks that are making All-Pro that have had their best years.
Well, in that quarterback rating system, Fouts is over 90. He's rated at 91. First and 10. Here he's taking a look deep, pumping, letting her rip.
Gee.
Boy, that Wes Chandler goes up in the air and almost had another one. Chandler says when he runs a long pattern, that was Charlie Joyner going deep. Chandler on the left flank. He says, I go 3/4 speed, then I go boom.
Well, his 3/4 speed's about 4.5, Don, but his full speed is unbelievable. If Fouts hadn't gotten nailed just as he threw the ball by Baumhauer, this ball was a touchdown because he had Chandler. Now, Fulton Walker is no slowpoke. He returns kickoffs for them. He's a rookie defensive corner, and it's very hard to keep up with the great receivers in your first year. You're going to get beat by a step or so. That time, Chandler had a lot of room to go had the ball been down there.
Let us not forget the amazing contribution of 13-year veteran Charlie Joyner this year. He caught 70 passes for 1,200 yards.
Look out.
Free ball. On 2nd and 10, Fouts is charged free of the football. Yep, Miami's got it.
That's the break they need to get back in the ball game. It happened because Dan did something that's very uncharacteristic of him. 2 plays in a row, he tried to get 3.5 to 4 seconds to throw the ball. He's a 5-step dropper, the kind of guy that hits his spots when they come open. This time he waited just a little bit too long. When he did so, Baumhauer put the whack on him. Baumhauer recovered. Bokamper got him first.
So the Dolphins are beneficiaries of a turnover with 6:41 to play in the first half, and they need all the help they can get at this point. Miami will go 1st and 10 at the San Diego 39-yard line. Tomorrow on NBC, playoff action continues as the Buffalo Bills head to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Pre-game at 12:30 Eastern Time. Stands in, throws it down. He makes the connection to the 19-yard line. Uriel Harris.
I'll tell you, they're playing a little bit deep. You don't give Uriel Harris this much room without getting a little closer to him. Mike Williams coming up a little late, never played the ball close enough. Klein coming up from his free safety position. 1st and 10 at the 19.
A 19-yard gain to the 19. Live action, 1st and 10 Miami. Ron Lee didn't know the snap count. He left early. It's got to be a bad feeling when you're on the other team's side.
It happens on occasion in critical situations. People say he had to have the snap count. He was in the huddle. But on occasion, your thought process don't work that way, and you do jump. That's how it got down there.
Right now, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WCKT, Channel 7, Miami.
1st down.
6:58 to play first half. AFC Divisional playoff game. Miami came in favored. San Diego opened up a 24-0 first quarter lead. Don Quickie with John Brody at the sold-out Orange Bowl in Miami, with temperatures in the 70s and the wind coming off the nearby Atlantic into the face of the Miami offense. Again, markers go down. Markers down again as the Dolphins get yards, but looks like it's going to all come back.
They're getting started a little quick, Don. It's the 2nd time they try to run a wide play once, a little quick pass to a halfback the next time. It's motion, I think. Once you've got a conference, nobody's sure.
They say the only way you can beat San Diego is to keep Fouts and the offense off the field, but San Diego's been able to score with Fouts off the field.
Look at him.
Chandler returning a punt for 54 yards. But this time the call goes against San Diego, a defensive penalty. So Ron Lee's lost yardage, comes back, and it's going to be 1st and 10 again from the 19.
Yeah, but why did they do that? They made about 11 yards.
Encroachment, number 79. 1st down.
Must have been before the snap.
You got it. I wish they'd blow it a little louder. If you're a football player, you wouldn't keep playing.
Here we go again now. 1st and 10 Miami. Quick hitter, nothing there. Eddie Hill tried to rip it up behind Bob Kuchenberg. And John Giesler and Louis Kelcher, big enough to block out the sun, made the stop. Kelcher playing with injuries all year, 290 pounds.
Well, when you get a group of defensive linemen who pursue the way San Diego's do, occasionally you try a fooler play. That was a fooler play. They pull the guard, hope Louis Kelcher comes along with him. He didn't, and it's Katie barred the door from the back.
Gain of only a yard, 2nd down and 9. See the second quarter clock winding down to 5:12. Dolphins get yards inside the 15-yard line down to the 14, but it'll bring up 3rd down and about 5 as Tony Nathan caught the ball and Woodrow Lowe knocked him out.
Before the ball game, it was mentioned that Tony Nathan was still a little hampered by injury, and they haven't really featured him. He had a great year during the regular season, was out during their final game. They won anyway. If they can get back in this game, I expect you to see a little more of him.
As we know, it's not over late. Shoot a gun after 4 quarters. Miami trailing 24-3, but challenging right now. Strock throws, good throw. Great play by the receiver Joe Rose, who leaned ahead. Let's see if he got the first down.
Don, he'd have never made the first down had he not had enough upstairs to know exactly where the first down marker was. You see that little right red stripe that's going down by the 11-yard line? He knows he's got to get it across that line. He's tackled. If he doesn't stick the ball out, he doesn't make it. He gets it out, fumbles it out of bounds. Good play.
You see the 51 is on the back of all the Miami players' helmets. That's in memory of the linebacker, Rusty Chambers, who died in an auto accident in the offseason. The Dolphins dedicating their season to the memory of Rusty Chambers. Here's Tony Nathan coming inside the 5-yard line on first down. And the Dolphins now come a knock in with 3:30 left to play in the first half. Coach Shula's starting to feel a little better about this thing.
Strock is about as sharp as I've seen him, Don.
He is looking good.
And it's funny, the metabolism that makes some quarterbacks go as a starter or a reliever. There's really room for a guy who thinks he might play or might not play to sit back, play second fiddle if things aren't going very well, jump right in and play. It takes a unique quality. Strock has that. He's played much better in relief than he has as a starter, and he's playing excellently right now.
He is really playing superb football down Strock as the Dolphins now have it 2nd and goal inside the San Diego 5. Eddie Hill turns upfield and gets to the 2, and now 3rd down comes up. Miami a lot of times goes to the tight end, a little quick throw. They've got a couple guys that catch the ball in the short patterns, Bruce Hardy and Joe Rose.
They got a lot of tight ends.
They do have 3.
Hardy, Rose, Lee.
Rose just came in. 2 wide receivers come out. West. We got Duriel Harris coming out. Joe Rose goes in, so they'll go with 2 tight ends.
Strock wasn't quite sure of the intended play, so he's coming over to confer with Don.
Always a good idea when you're down this close. So the Dolphins have the ball at the San Diego 2-yard line. A touchdown will get them right back into action. We'll find out what they do when we come back to the Orange Bowl in Miami. Miami is now working its way back into this game. There'll be a lot more back in if they can get into the end zone here. Their 3rd downs coming up. They're at the 2-yard line of San Diego, trailing the Chargers 24-3. Don Shula and the Dolphins weren't quite sure what hit them, but they knew it wasn't good when they found themselves down 24-0 in the first quarter. 3rd and goal, Miami. Strock gets it away. Touchdown to Joe Rose. They go to the tight end.
Strock was playing as well as I'd seen him play. That was the best play that he had all day long. He's 9 of 12 for 97 yards, beyond the call. He knows he's trapped. He makes an excellent move to get around the first man. When he does so, he finds his alternate receiver. He's got Joe Rose. I mean, he must just run around looking for Joe because he's come up with so many big plays for him. But they're back in the ball game.
Feel a lot better about it right now, trailing 24-9 with 2:46 to play in the first half. Long way to go. Van Schaman ready for the point after attempt, which he delivers right through. And it's a 24-10 game. Joe Rose going into the end zone.
Watch Joe Rose, a little sneaker play. He's coming by trying to sneak across. It's an outlet. They're trying to go to the fullback on a swing. He comes off to Rose. Touchdown, 24-10. That's an excellent drive by Strock.
Behind every Schlitz is a man who knows his beer. The people in St. Louis.
The momentum has changed after the Chargers scored 24 unanswered points at the outset of the game in the first quarter. Miami has now come back to score 10 straight points. Dolphins getting back in and ready to kick it off, as Joe Rose was just on the receiving end of a Don Strock touchdown pass. Van Schaman kicks a one-hopper down. The ball slapped at. Here comes James Brooks. Right up the middle, and James Brooks gets to the 35-yard line. But there is a penalty marker down. It'll go against the Chargers.
And that is a big break for Miami. They need to get the ball back in the hole if they're going to contain San Diego's offense. Take a look at the touchdown, Donnie. We mentioned earlier, we saw the official get in the way a little earlier. This is just good play by a tight end using the official to pick the defensive back.
Another look at it.
Sometimes you can't get out of the way. You know, if you're an umpire, you just can't find a hole to crawl in, particularly when a group's throwing as much as both these teams are.
There's the mark-off now. That's going to set the Chargers all the way back to their 10-yard line. They would have been up close to the 40.
Illegal block below the waist on the return, number 37. First down.
This officiating crew, led by referee Fred Wyatt, has 70 years of experience officiating NFL games. National Football League summons all the officials before the playoffs, all the teams working the playoffs. They just had a meeting in Atlanta. Jack Reeder, Nick Skorich are here. So what do you go over with him? He says every possible aspect of the game. You start with a kickoff and go right through it. Everybody gets keyed up and geared up for playoff football. Joe Rose, who caught the touchdown pass, and there is the handsome Californian, is out of Cal at Berkeley. He runs deep patterns well. They go to him long a lot of times.
And it's very rare for a tight end that doesn't have great speed to be able to find the holes deep in any sort of zone defense. He can do it. He does it very well, and he's got very sure hands. You mentioned earlier he made 3 big catches against Buffalo to keep their drives alive. I think their defense is a little more stimulated right now just because Strock has given them hope. He's thrown the ball all over the field effectively. They feel back in it.
Don Strock almost went to Canada or so, as rumored in the offseason. Stayed in Miami, 8-year player out of Virginia Tech. 6'5", 210, a 60% passer this season. Threw for 900 yards while he was in there. Today, he has been a master. David Woodley was pulled when the Dolphins found themselves down 24-0. Don Strock, for a 6th time this season, is called on to replace David Woodley, and Woodley's quarterbacked a lot of wins in the 11-win season for Miami. He doesn't feel bad when he's taken out because he knows that Strock has helped this team win, and they don't always pull David Woodley when the Dolphins are behind. In 2 games, the change was made at halftime, even though Miami was leading. Having some conversation on the sideline now with 2:35 left to play in the first half.
They're trying to get that 30-second clock working, I think, Don. They're making a lot of motions to a lot of people. I can't tell for sure, but that's my guess.
Get some idea, John. You're talking about a guy averaging 300 yards a game, passing as Dan Fouts did. In 1 game this season, San Diego had 336 yards offense against Oakland overall. That was their lowest output of the season. 336.
I'll show you what's going on. One of the wires that goes across the stadium has fallen down to such a level that
few of them have.
They've got to find a way to get that wire out of the area.
gone. Somebody cut it.
Tell you, hanging down about 6 feet, it's
more like a
would see
string.
a lot of guys come to a sudden halt.
Sometimes you see people start to crawl across those wires, like in Buffalo when they put them up. There we go. Just a guy flying his kite. No big problem. Dolphin crowd starts up as the Miami defense digs in. To the run. Muncy breaks it. Takes a head-on hit and gets to the 20-yard line. Lyle Blackwood, a striker out of Texas Christian, the free safety, teaming with his brother in the deep secondary, Glenn Blackwood. He played at Texas. Glenn did.
Okay, they've run the ball pretty effectively on occasion. The momentum has changed. I think that little pause in the action helped San Diego get organized quite a bit. Take a look. A.J. Dewey in pursuit. Muncy runs right over the top of Lyle Blackwood. They're all after it, but they're after a big cat.
One thing about a team under control like Miami always is when they do fall behind, they don't try to get it all back at once. That's smart. Long way to go. We'll be back to check out the last 2 minutes of the first half after this. Ball game. They were down 24-0 in the first quarter. The preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. John Brody, what about when a team falls behind like Miami did? Do you have an alternate game plan that you might go to a disaster situation?
Well, obviously nobody expects to fall behind 24-0, Don. But when you do, you have to do what you have to work with. And they've practiced. They've got a 2-minute. They've got a 2-minute drill, and they've used it since the first quarter, and wisely so. They're far from in a good position in the ball game. But remember, if they can hold San Diego now, they get the kickoff in the second half too.
First and 10. Muncy again. And Muncy, big as he is so elusive when he breaks the line and gets into open field. Glenn Blackwood, the strong safety, finally tackled him as the game clock is down to 1:48.
I've never seen a guy that creates so much open field. Good pursuit. You see their offensive line keeping contact with Bo Camper. He breaks the containment. When he does so, he requires Lyle Blackwood to come in, try to pick up, but not before he gains 8 yards. His 8-yard gains look like 3-yarders.
Second and 3, back to Muncy. Again, he breaks it and gets ahead for what looks to be first down yardage to about the 32-yard line. Ernest Roan was on the tackle for the Miami Dolphins. Game clock down to 1:19.
All right, A.J. Dewey trying to get to the outside, mess everything up. He does so. He takes on the guard, allows Ernest Roan to come in and make a good tackle on Muncy, but not before he picks up a first.
$1:19 to go. Dolphins with 2 timeouts, as you see. Chargers with 2. Miami has really gotten the offense going, though, since Don Strock came into the game. Strock coming in for David Woodley has now put the ball up 12 times, has completed 9 for 97 yards, and the touchdown to Joe Rose. Coming up at halftime, NFL 81. Brian Gumbel, Mike Adamle, Pete Axthelm here to update you on what happened in the first half, what happened earlier in the day, what's going to be coming up tomorrow as the NFL playoffs continue. And all the best to Bryant Gumbel, who will be going to the Today Show as the host, as you know, Monday morning, January 4th. Continued success to Bryant. I'm sure he'll have it.
I'm sure he will, too. And if you're a Saturday Night Live fan, Joe Piscopo will be on at halftime with Bryant. So
that's right.
I look forward to that.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League and is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Miami Dolphins and the National Football League is prohibited. Don Criqui with John Brody at the Orange Bowl. 1:19 to play in the first half. Fouts gets it again. He goes to Kellen Winslow, and the Chargers come out with a first down to the 44-yard line, a 12-yard gain. Fouts has those happy feet. He really shuffles them.
Well, they're quick. You know, he doesn't run fast, but it doesn't take him long to move one past the other, go back 7 yards, set up, and fire the ball around. And when you have quick feet, when you keep your feet close together, it really increases your flexibility as to where you go with the ball. He does that. He bounces around, never keeps him too stationary so that he really gives away where he's going with the ball. He just as often as not might have come out to his halfback in the flat. puts a burden on a linebacker, I'll tell you that.
He looks at everybody, too, doesn't he? He checks them all out.
And the good thing is he checks his own people. He doesn't too much concern himself with where all the defensive players are. He concerns himself with who's open. And he can take a look quickly, see who is or isn't open.
Amazing.
He's got an alternate receiver, and it doesn't take him long once he sees the picture to release the ball. That's what you call a quick release. From the time you see what you like, how fast does it take you to get the ball off? There's some different reactions. I'd say that could make a book in itself.
Well, you can't tell about Coach Coryell whether he's winning or losing. He's got the same look. He wins a lot. You know about Coach Shula. Of the all-time coaches, he has the highest winning percentage.
Also the hottest, I think. Some people can sit and say differently, but I think he gets as involved and is hot on game day, particularly in an important ball game.
There's Brian Gumbel.
Who's that fella?
Hi, Mom. 1:10 to go in the first half. Charlie Joyner turns out, makes the reception, and again, the Chargers move to another first down. So all of a sudden, instead of giving up the ball, they're moving down where they might be scoring before the half.
And they do it so matter-of-factly. All right, we've seen him move the ball 50 yards so easily. Once to Joyner on this occasion, over to Winslow in the middle. They saw Muncie run for 2 first downs. It looks like everything's designed for them to pick up about 12 or 15 yards, just like walking off a log.
James Brooks down to the 38-yard line, and the game clock inside a minute now and running down to 55 seconds.
So Brooks walks in the huddle and says, "Hey, you haven't thrown me one." Fires in one, they almost get another first down.
Brooks is one of those 180-pounders who's not afraid to go right into a linebacker. Very strong. Fouts stops the clock with 42 seconds to go in the half.
Okay, people booing think they should be calling him for intentional grounding. Again, you mentioned it's not intentional grounding when you're stopping the clock, only when you're trying to avoid loss of yardage. Pete's taking his last time out.
This year, James Brooks, who we saw catch that pass, John, earlier, finished with almost 2,100 all-purpose yards when you count his rushing, his receiving, his return yardage. That was #1 in the NFL, and the most for a rookie since '65, when Gale Sayers had a little more. The rookie was Chicago.
Against us.
3rd and 4, good defensive play. James Brooks coming out of the backfield. Ernest Roan reaches in and slaps it down.
Boy, it's tough. When you're one-on-one with James Brooks all over the field and you stay close to him as he did then and break up a pass, you try to get situations like that. They had picked up 4 out of 6 third down situations. That was a big one to stop them on if you're a Miami fan, because remember, they get the ball back opening the second half. A good drive could pull them to within 7.
So a long one. 55-yarder by Benershka.
He makes this, I know something's going on.
Miami takes over with 30 seconds to play in the half.
Hey, it was far enough, though.
It was.
All right, you think these kickers don't root for the ball? You can pull a muscle rooting for these babies. Just missed.
You know the story about Rolf Benershka and his comeback, which is just monumental, what he overcame. Physical disability, a very serious illness, almost cost him his life. They didn't think he'd be alive, let alone playing in football, and he's come back to have another great year.
Still got time, too, if you're Miami, to put 3 points on the board. I think they'll go with that intention if they can get it down to the 35-yard line or better. And I think because of the wind conditions, they'd have to get it inside the 30 to have a realistic chance to field goal. But that's only 33 yards now.
Swing pass, it goes to Vigorito. Looks for blockers, looks for the sideline, gets out of bounds with 24 seconds to play. Miami advancing the ball out across the 45-yard line.
A big play because now they can go down the field 20 yards. They'll have picked up almost enough yards for a possible field goal try.
They'll spot it at the 44. Talking about Ralph Benerski, I'll never forget that great shot when he came back from the hospital. His body weight down to around 105 pounds, and he walked out on the field to a standing salute at San Diego with Louis Kelcher walking along with him. He needed somebody right next to him to be sure he could make it. That's how sick he'd been. Kelcher 290 pounds, and Benerska coming back. And now Don Strock on 2nd down and 3 goes again to Vigorito. He's heading for the sidelines and a first down. Donnie Vigorito gets to the 48-yard line. 15 seconds on the clock.
He could have picked up 5 more yards. He wanted to get out of bounds, give them a chance to pick up a 20-yard completion and another field goal chance. This kid's a rookie, but he plays like a veteran. Number 32, that's why they use him in passing situations, coming out of the backfield. He makes the right decisions at the right time, and this was a proper decision.
He's a tough little customer. Tommy Vigorito out of the University of Virginia, 5th-round draft choice. He's really helped the Dolphins this year. Catches a lot of balls, a very heady player. Don Shula says he always knows what's going on. From the day he walked in here for the opening training camp session. Miami has converted 3 of 4 third downs with Don Strock at quarterback. Now they have 1st and 10. Another dump pass to Tony Nathan. Down to the 40, 7 seconds left. Clock stopped with 6 seconds to go.
Super play by Lyndon King. Don, that play was set up. It was a screen center. They put 3 wide receivers to the left side, tried to get the defense spread out with no one in the middle. They did that, and King made an outstanding play to set up a sure field goal try.
What do you do here now, John, with 6 seconds? Do you have time to a quick out?
I've got to throw something because he's not going to kick it going against the wind from 57 yards. I know they call him Uwe von Foot, but it is not that good. I think they'll try and get the ball. They've got plenty of time to throw a short out, but they can't throw anything in the middle because San Diego will let the time run out before they tackle him.
Some very impressive numbers for Mr. Strock. 15 throws, 12 completions, 124 yards, and a touchdown. Changing pitchers works out very well so far for Miami.
You know what I think they'll do, Don? I think he'll take a look at the defense. If he has something open to either sideline, he'll take advantage of it. If he doesn't, he'll go all the way down the field to the end zone because he only has time for 1 play left. He'll send 1 guy in the end zone in case both outsides are covered.
Don Coryell across the way, pacing the sidelines, waiting to see what Miami does as the Dolphins now have put up 10 points after San Diego opened up, stunned this whole place with a 24-0 first quarter lead. Nose of the ball at the San Diego 40. Miami has only 6 yards rushing in this game.
Well, they were put in a position where they can't afford to rush. 8 first downs, all passing. What are you going to do? Make a nice 4-yard gain in that position?
Hard throw.
Look at that! What a play! What a play!
It's a great play by Duriel Harris to hit him on a dead run. It's not something you work on every day. Takes great players to execute it. They made it in an unbelievable moment.
The Orange Bowl has gone from stunned silence in the first quarter when the Dolphins were down 24-0 to absolute mayhem.
Nothing like flag football. 82, Duriel Harris, excellent play. They're going to let him catch it. Now here's the problem. You try to get on the wide receiver too quick. You let Nathan run his course. He outruns the defense, puts Miami back to within 7
deficit. But the Dolphins are out to change that.
No team has ever been down 24 quite so quickly and come back quite so swiftly.
What a great play. Strock to Duriel Harris. Cooley with the tackler on him. Loops the ball out to a streaking Tony Nathan. Touchdown Miami as the first half comes to an end. The first surely was. City talking about how innovative Don Coryell says of Coryell. He was in low-cut shoes while the rest of us coaches were still wearing high tops. Second and 8. Here's a throw and a diving attempt. Incomplete. And a penalty marker down on Pete Shaw. First down for the Dolphins.
I don't know which way it's going to go, Don. I guess if you saw it that way, that's... I couldn't see the initial contact. It was thrown from quite a ways away.
He jumped on his back.
All right. Strock's got plenty of time to throw. Got a one-on-one situation. Pete Shaw and Hardy. It goes in the favor of the O's.
Defensive penalty against the San Diego Chargers, resulting in 5 yards and a first down for Miami.
Holding 54. First down.
Actually got Laslovic on a hold up close.
I wonder what Pete Shaw was doing up there. I didn't see him, but...
He was covering. He was in on Hardy after Laslovic picked him up at the line of scrimmage and tried to hold him up.
I couldn't see him do anything. That's why I was surprised when I saw the call.
First down and 10 now, Miami. Timing pattern. Duriel Harris catches the ball at the 39-yard line of San Diego.
Oh, man.
You're not kidding.
That's a play. I was very interested to see how Strock would come out in the second half. If he keep firing the way he ended up the first half. He picked it up in exactly the same fashion, throwing a perfect strike to Duriel Harris on the dead run. Great catch. Edwards had the play covered.
Glenn Edwards also put a shot right on his chops there, and Duriel Harris hung onto the ball. Big gainer on the play. 28 yards and a Miami first down. Andre Franklin looks for the tough yards inside and gets down close to the 38-yard line. Might have gotten a yard, no more. Laslovic, 54, was on the tackle, along with Lyndon King.
You know, I would say in some cases a team that had a great defense would have a little bit more trouble rebounding after they have a 24-0 lead and they watch it dissipate. But in San Diego's case, it's happened before, okay? And Fouts and his offensive group have responded on most of those occasions.
Let's see what they do now on 2nd and 9. Miami Dolphins go to the pass to the 35-yard line, but still well short of a first down. Good defense by the Chargers. Woodrow Lowe and Lyndon King, the outside linebackers.
They're trying to get the halfbacks isolated on the linebackers. This time Woodrow Lowe and Eddie Hill. Lowe's got him fairly well covered. Not before he picks up 5.
The Dolphins, with a touchdown and an extra point here, would tie the game after they were behind 24-0 in the first quarter. 3rd down and 6 coming up. Three wide receivers sent to either side. Here's a throw. Man is open, and the ball is caught. Duriel Harris at the 16-yard line. Strock, John,
any doubt as to whether Dario Harris has recovered. You know he's been embarrassed for the last month, not being able to play after that spike in the end zone. This is the way to take care of all the problems. He's come back, having not played since that game, made 3 big plays in the last 2 minutes of play, 2 in this half and 1 to end the half, and have got them back in the ball game. That's a great reception. Pretty well thrown, but a great reception.
Dario Harris spiked the ball in the end zone, hurt his knee doing it. That would be embarrassing. Now the Dolphins go right to the run, get it inside the 15-yard line. Driving the ball straight ahead was Tony Nathan. Don Strock, since he's come in with 12 completions in a row, has hit 16 of 20 for 209 yards and 2 touchdowns.
He's in the middle of his best game ever. There be no doubt about that. This is the best I've ever seen him play, and I'm sure it's the best he's ever played.
It's about as good as anybody's ever played.
Right.
Nathan can't hold on a 2nd and 8 play, so now a big 3rd down comes up for the Dolphins. Vigorito comes into the offensive backfield. Nat Moore comes in the game, and so does Joe Rose, the tight end who caught the touchdown pass.
They've got a lot of receivers with different abilities, eh? And right now they've got San Diego guessing.
With Strock at quarterback, the Dolphins have converted 4 of 5 previous 3rd downs for 1st downs. This is a tough one, 3rd down and 8. Joe Rose, touchdown Miami!
Points. San Diego's in a blitz. Strock reads it perfectly, comes to his tight end. Pete Shaw's trying to cover Rose. He has no play. When you give a quarterback a lane with no linebacker in between him and the intended receiver, with a strong safety trying to cover him, he's got no case with a man as big as Rose is. Perfectly thrown ball. He zips it in the end zone. He's a little slow getting up. It looks like a cramp.
Hopefully it's a cramp, because they can work that out. He'd be back in there. We'll be back to the Orange Bowl right after this. Joe Rose is up and about, and he's all right. He surely is, after going into the end zone for a 2nd time with a touchdown reception from Don Strock, and the Dolphins now an extra point away from tying this game.
Did you see the look in Strock's eyes? I've never seen the bigger whites in my life. How sweet it is when you got it going this way, pal. Don't stop.
He liked what he saw. Joe Rose open for a 2nd time in the end zone. The extra point is up and good, and we can all be witness to one of the great comebacks in the history of this league, certainly in the playoffs, as the Dolphins, down 24-0 in the 1st quarter, have come back to tie the game.
How about that job?
Some unusual number combinations, but it all adds up to 24 Miami, 24 San Diego.
Don, I have mentioned on several occasions, and we have both, that San Diego probably has the most prolific, productive offense in the history of professional football. And right now, you're asking the best offensive football team that possibly ever played this game to get your group back in the game. If anyone can, I'd like to have Fouts and his group behind the controls.
Well, that's right. Fouts can make it happen in a big hurry, and he's going to be out to do that. Tomorrow, the NFL playoffs continue on NBC Sports with the 2nd AFC Divisional Game. Starting at 12:30 Eastern Time, host Bryant Gumbel reviews the playoffs on NFL 81. And then the Buffalo Bills, the wild card, the team that's been winning on the road, goes against the leading passer in the NFL, Kenny Anderson, and the Cincinnati Bengals at Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen are there. They will be tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time on NBC Sports. A high spinning kickoff taken by an upback. Doug Bedoin moves ahead and gets it out across the 35-yard line to the 37. So Air Coryell will go on offense in good position to start with their first possession of the second half. Ken Poole made the tackle.
And that's the first piece of action that Bedoin has really had for San Diego. You know, he was just activated today, and formerly he was with the Dolphins. A lot of times a coach will take a man just for that reason, but let's just take a look at the intensity that's being displayed by Miami. Bedoin makes a good jump over the first man, and back to the action.
Chuck Muncie and the Chargers are stuffed at the line of scrimmage. Go to the run. There's nothing there. No gain. Might have gotten a yard. Make it second down and 9. We're early in the third quarter. 10:20 to play in it. John Sandusky, one of the assistants, talking of Don Strock. What a game he's had. Don Strock coming off the bench to relieve David Woodley.
He's just having a lot of fun.
Here is Dan Fouts throwing over the middle, and he's got Kellen Winslow in open field. And Winslow is down the far sidelines and finally knocked out of bounds inside the 35-yard line. So the Chargers strike with the big play they need so badly.
Right, and we mentioned Mike Kozlowski will be man-to-man on Kellen Winslow through most of the day. On this particular occasion, he was not. He gets by the linebacker. Then Mike Kozlowski tries to pick him up after he eludes Blackwood. This man makes a lot of big plays for San Diego, and he mentions that 3-yarder that he made against Tampa Bay in a 24-23. Donnybrook is his biggest play of the season. Loves to be in the position. He's in it now.
John, you may vividly remember the best comeback prior to this in '57 when the Lions came back against the 49ers with 20 points down.
Yeah, I watched it.
Penalty markers down the Miami secondary.
He may get defensive holding called. You know, Fouts was looking at an intended receiver, saw him either held up or slipped.
Oh, it's going to go the other way.
Well, my.
Offensive pass interference. Right now, we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WCKT, Channel 7, Miami.
The Chargers set back by the penalty against them as referee Fred Wyan checked it out with the Miami field captain. First and 10 play originating at the Miami 31-yard line. Now the step off.
You know what you see very little of in this game? Players sitting on the bench.
Pass interference, number 80.
Boy, that is for sure. They're all up and along the sidelines. When they first showed up on the field after we were here at the Orange Bowl last night, they had a laugh because it looked like there was only a third of a football team out there. Clemson and Nebraska each dressing about 115 guys.
They had a league.
First down at 20. San Diego. Game is tied. Beautiful break up by Miami. Dwight Scales turning over the middle. Don McNeil in the Miami lineup. Broken arm and all. Knocked the ball down.
Hey, you don't have to catch it. He's a very good man-to-man cover. They feel he's probably the best cover on the Miami defense. He's asking in. He wants a part of this.
Bill Arnsparger said he worked very well during the week. He's a little doubtful as a tackler, but he can, as you mentioned, John, is the best cover they had, and he can run around and knock things down back there as an extra DB. 9:38 to go, third quarter. Second down and 20. Penalty marker at the line of scrimmage. They were looking at Chuck Muncie.
It's thrown very quick.
Fouts trying to go to Chuck Muncie. Here's the call again as the marker was down at the line of scrimmage. It is against San Diego. So the Chargers are firing, but they're falling back with the penalties.
I think that look tells it all right there. He's a bit dejected.
And with reason.
Third down.
They came out of the block so fast, you often hear coaches talk about getting a big lead real early sometimes takes away initiative from a team. They think they have it won.
I don't think that was the case in San Diego's situation. They kept throwing the ball. They kept trying to move it offensively. But they've gone from the penthouse to a hornet's nest.
Fouts has a problem, gets it away. Kellen Winslow has the ball, and look at that tackle. Ernest Roan, number 55. The only guy in the league from Henderson State in Arkansas.
He's getting a lot better pressure on him right now. Bo Camper coming from the outside, forces Dan to step up. Now he's got no way to go long. Makes a decision to go to Winslow underneath, not the intended receiver. Good play by the D's. Just a simple little check delay. He's his safety valve. If nothing else is open, he'll come to him. That's the way the defense played it.
Ernest Roan puts his shoulder on the pads, and down goes Kellen Winslow, and San Diego has to punt. 8:43 to play third quarter. The game is tied, 24 all. If you delay a game, it is.
That's all right. They were just trying to get him to jump. If they happen to jump, fine. They pick up 5. They don't. Doesn't matter on the punt.
Yeah, if they picked up that 5, they'd gone to the field goal probably.
Well, I was looking at that, and with the wind, remember we saw Bernishka kick one about, as a matter of fact, it was quite a bit longer than that, and almost make it.
But at this point, the Chargers have come a cropper. There's the defensive coordinator, Jack Pardee, who was twice NFL Coach of the Year, head coach of the Bears, then at Washington. The defensive system hasn't taken hold just yet. It's starting to late in the season.
That's right, it was. And they were playing good defense.
George Roberts, the ex-Dolphin, out there to punt. Hits the ball very high into the lights. Vigorito watches it sail out of the end zone for a touchback. And the Dolphins, who were down 24-0 and have proceeded to score 24 points to tie the game, send their offense back out. When we come back, it'll be 1st and 10 Miami at the Dolphins' 20-yard line. What a game. The Goodyear blimp high over the Orange Bowl in Miami. Playoff football on NBC, and what a game it's been. Earlier today, Dallas got out in front of Tampa Bay, then continued to beat them into the ground. San Diego opened up a 24-0 lead in the first quarter in this game, but the Miami Dolphins, resilient, have come back to tie it. Now they go 1st and 10. Nathan cracks the San Diego defense for a 6- or 7-yard gain.
And you almost get the feeling that Shula's now in a position where he can do what he wanted to be able to do at the outset of the ball game. He's sitting there, the score is 0-0 for all intents and purposes. He's got San Diego a little concerned. When you get a team concerned, you can do an awful lot of things that you couldn't do prior. He would love to run the ball from sideline to sideline, see if he can't wear down this San Diego defense. There's another part to that. Strock's been so hot, you stop what you've been doing.
I think you keep him throwing, keep that right arm cranking, because Strock is having a great game. Let's see if there was motion in the Miami line that brought that, as Andra Franklin runs on 2nd down and 3. Markers down, stopping the clock with 7:44 to go. We mentioned tomorrow it is Buffalo at Cincinnati in the other AFC Divisional Playoff game. Pre-game show NFL 81 at 12:30 here on NBC. The winner of that game, if it's Cincinnati, would be on the home field against either of these teams, whichever team wins here today. If Buffalo should win at Cincinnati, then the Bills would be on the road against the winner of today's game. Wild card can't have a home game in the playoffs.
Offense was not set for a second.
You heard it. That's one of the few times in the last quarter and a half that Miami has made a mistake of any kind. This game turned exactly when Don Strock walked on the field.
He did. Miami now has 245 yards passing, just 26 rushing, but they haven't bothered to run the ball. They had to throw it to get back in the game, and get back in it they did. Here comes Nathan. Tony Nathan on 2nd down and 8 takes it out to the 28-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd down and short yardage. Woodrow Lowe, 51 on the stop for the Chargers.
All right, you say, well, how can they run the ball effectively now? They couldn't do it earlier in the ball game. They've thrown it so well that you get the linebackers off the line of scrimmage playing it very loose. When you play it a little loose, you're in a position of not containing the wide sweep. They're taking one guard, pulling him, getting good movement off the ball, and it's nothing but a piece of cake for a back to pick up 7 or 8 yards.
And another big factor, John, as we discussed earlier, is the way that Miami maintained its equilibrium and got back into the game gradually. Didn't try to go wild and get it all on 80-yard throws. And is open, but Nat Moore cannot quite get to the ball. He'd left cornerback Mike Williams 2 steps behind on the fly pattern.
Mike made a very good recovery because it looked as if Nat Moore was going to come wide open. He picked up a couple of yards on him, made Strzok try to make a great throw rather than an easy one. I think it was worth the gamble. Here we go. Nat Moore, you can see he gets by at the line of scrimmage. Looks like he's going to the corner, but you can see he's not running at full speed because he isn't as well as he'd like to be. As a result, Mike Williams comes by and makes a fine play.
And Strzok, as he illustrates there, surely has the long-distance arm, but now Miami has to punt. The Chargers could get good field position. A well-hit ball, though, by Morris. Here's James Brooks to the 39-yard line, and Miami, always proud of its special teams play, and smarting today from a touchdown return and a punt earlier by Wes Chandler, comes up to cover nicely. So it's 6:39 left to play third quarter. The Chargers go on offense in this tie game. Don Criqui with John Brody back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Some most unlikely turns to this game. It's all locked up 24 all right now. Chargers first and 10, and there's Fouts setting up quickly, going over the middle, and there is another reception by Kellen Winslow.
Don, that man has such a pair of hands that in a crowd, a guy that can take a ball that's coming that fast and not have to let it go to his shoulder pads, but can put his hands right up, snatch it out of the air. Take a look. This is the offensive line. They know it's their job to do. Masick, White, Wilkerson, Washington. They've got to do it right now.
And they got some buildings in that offensive line of San Diego. Washington at 290, Shields at 280, White at 280. Here's a throw, and John Cappelletti cannot hold onto the ball coming out of the backfield on a first down play.
That was such a good play by Fouts. Wanted to go down the field, convinced everybody in the house, including me, then just kind of came off with a little shuffle job over to Cappelletti. Eddie caught it. He was on the dead run in the clear. Pretty good offensive pass protection, giving Dan a chance to let the linebackers clear out, coming underneath to Cappelletti. All for naught.
Denherner put the big rush on there, John.
Let's take a look. You know, offensively, these guys who have been the core of their football team have to do a job. That's Bob Baumhauer, a Pro Bowler, Ed White, a veteran of 13 years. This is what it's about.
Great play, but the ball is lost. Muncie coming out of the backfield. Had it right on his numbers, but it caromed off his pads and almost was intercepted by Miami.
They're coming to the backs underneath because the linebackers are taking very deep drops, trying to help out on the 3 wide receivers. He takes advantage of it by coming to Muncie. He doesn't drop many balls, but he dropped a big one at a critical time. Not too many times do you get a critical drop with 5:52 in the third quarter, but you get the feeling they've got to do something.
Well, they'll be trying now with a throw on third down and 10 for San Diego at the Miami 48-yard line. Wes Chandler is wide left. There's a catch, and there's a first down for San Diego. Dwight Scales, in his 5th year from Grambling, turns in, catches the ball 17 yards downfield for a Charger first down.
Miami trying to make a big play. Attempts to put the pressure on Fouts. It's a blitz all the way. You see no linebackers in the intermediate zone. A cornerback is really at the mercy of a wide receiver. And when Chandler catches the ball, defensive back has fallen down. Offensive line picked up the people.
17-yard gain and a first down. They say you're going to try to knock those Chargers off their patterns and throw the rhythm up. They haven't been doing it on this drive now as Fouts has his team first and 10. A quick out goes to Wes Chandler. And Chandler looking to break the crust and take it the distance. Takes it down to the 25-yard line.
You notice that Dan has gone to all of his receivers about equal amounts. However, not on any given day. He'll go with the guy that's hot. You find, and generally it's because of a defensive coverage that allows that. But in this case, a short job to Wes Chandler. You're giving a guy that can do as much as he can do with the ball a chance to make a big play for you and keep your drive alive.
After John Jefferson left the Chargers in the contract impasse, Wes Chandler came in from New Orleans. He was expensive, a first-round and a third-round draft choice, but it put that whole passing game of San Diego's back together again. Bounce, pump fakes, throws, touchdown, Kellen Winslow. And the Chargers take back the lead 30-24.
Tell you, Winslow was almost pulled to Duriel Harris. I don't think he saw it. He was very excited. He ran right into the goalpost, almost knocked himself out.
That goalpost will knock you out.
What a beautiful move. Look at the pump by Fouts. Waits for Winslow to cut underneath in the zone coverage, puts it right where it has to be thrown. Winslow comes up with another big play. As he dunks it, he came down on the goalpost. See, that's beautiful pattern.
Boy, it was. His 9th catch of the day for 25 yards and a touchdown. Kellen Winslow at 9 receptions for 117 yards. Extra point is up and good. And the San Diego Chargers, whose offense has been quiet for a while, strike on the big play, and they take back the lead. It is a 31-24 game. San Diego in the lead, and the Chargers will be kicking off when we come back to Miami, Florida. Chargers go 60 yards in 6 plays, the final 25 in this throw.
Real good pass protection. Winslow beats the zone. When you run patterns the way he does, move the way he does, you're going to make a lot of touchdowns, but don't do that once you get in there. Someday they're going to learn their lesson.
He almost did, John. He came down that, pulled that right leg a little bit. He's all right. Vigorito on a good kickoff. Good coverage by Bob Greger.
All right. Should be able to see it again one more time. Good pump by Fouts. Opens the zone a little. Throw it at the right time. You'll find a hole. He does. What did Paul Brown tell Bob Trumpy? When you go in the end zone, act like you've been there before. He's been there so much, he probably got bored. Had to make it a little more exciting.
That was the Trumpers' first touchdown in a preseason game. He was quite excited, threw his helmet in the air. Coach Brown says, Trumpy, if you score another one in this league, act like you've been there. He got there again for him, though, and now we see a dump-off pass going to Tony Nathan. First down, he's across the 20-yard line out to the 24. And there's a penalty marker down.
A flag is down.
Chargers say it's against Miami. It's better to hear what Fred Wyant says. Against the Dolphins with 3:59 to go in the third quarter, and the Chargers in the lead 31-24. They led by 7, you'll remember, at halftime, 24-17. And then the Dolphins completed that amazing comeback when they were down 24-0 in the first quarter. They tied the game here in the third quarter, 24 all.
The hands, number 7.
The least penalized team in the league has had some very untimely ones in the last quarter or so. But you know what the drive that the offense of San Diego put together did is it gave the defense a chance to regroup. And boy, you really need it when a team's coming at you the way Miami's been coming after San Diego.
This has been some game, and we've got a long way to go. Here's a swing pass, goes out to Tony Nathan, turns up the middle, crosses the 15, and Tony Nathan gets back to about the 18-yard line in a 1st and 15 play.
Short pass taken by Nathan.
Laslovic got him. The pursuit by San Diego's defense excellent to stop a big gainer.
Well, early in the ball game, we saw the San Diego defensive linemen having the best of everything. Right now, they're in a run-pass situation. They can't get in their starting blocks. We saw Big Hands Johnson make good pursuit, miss the tackle, but they're still very active, and that was a concern.
Don Sprock and the offense of Miami now faced with 2nd down and 9 as the Chargers bring their linebackers up tight. Swing pass again to Nathan. And again, whoops, he gets away. Tony Nathan's knocked out, but he gets out across the 25. Out to the 26. He's less than a yard from a first down when it seemed he would be knocked down just beyond the line of scrimmage.
Yes, sir. It looked like it might have been a face mask, but I guess he got a straight shot right in the mouth. He missed the whole thing.
Shaw on the tackle.
Boy, this is some kind of play.
He's caught 6 now for 59 yards.
Well, he jumps underneath Woodrow low. It looks like 3 tacklers have him. Leroy Jones lets him go. Finally, the whole team gets him down. It should be a little bit short of the first down, but it's within 6 inches.
The sticks come out. They can tell a sad story sometimes. This time inches away. They have another down, though.
Take a look at the way he gets popped when he does get popped. He finally comes loose out of the pile. Louis Kelcher misses. Leroy Jones misses. Pete Shaw gets
the top of his hat.
Gets him top of his hat. No face mask anyway.
Miami looking good on January 2. Temperature in the 70s. The Orange Bowl is jammed. As we mentioned earlier in the game, under Don Shula, when the Orange Bowl's been sold out during his reign as coach of the Dolphins, the Dolphins have won 20 and lost 2. Right now, they're down by a touchdown and an extra point, 31-24. 3rd and inches.
Oh.
Looks like the sticks are coming out again.
I don't think they're coming out. They didn't get back to the line of scrimmage, Don. Great penetration interior-wise by Kelcher. Yes, sir. And big hands. They were down low. They beat the guards at the point of attack.
Woodrow Lowe, the sticker from Alabama, came up from the outside.
But Louis Kelcher created the whole deal.
See, if they get it, it's going to be by the nose of the football.
If they get it, they gave him a good spot.
Get it.
That's what you call no gain.
They got it.
What?
They got it. The yard markers move on, and the Dolphins get 4 new downs. Those numbers. Not a balanced offense.
You'd expect that from San Diego. Of course, you wouldn't expect Miami to be down 24-zip either.
I don't know if anyone expected this many points in a playoff game. Good defense. There's a swing out in the flat. Whoa! 2 charges ran into each other. Mike Williams and Pete Shaw collided.
Well, Pete Shaw never saw the ball. His back was turned the whole way. And Mike Williams never saw Pete Shaw. Had Pete not been in the way, Mike picked it off and run in. Look at this. The only guy that didn't have a chance for the ball was Cephalo. The other 2 had perfect shots at it.
We had a collision, so it goes incomplete. 2nd down and 10 comes up. 2:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. 31-24 San Diego. Rock throws, and the ball is caught by Jimmy Cephalo at the 50-yard line. 1st down, Miami.
They haven't tried Willie Buchanan very often today, and you'll see why. Because that ball had to be perfectly thrown, or Buchanan may have picked it off. He beat a double zone coverage. Buchanan's the up man. Shaw coming over. When you throw it that well into a double zone, there's no chance. Oops, he cuts right underneath him. It's the only way he could go. When he cut underneath, the ball was actually already thrown.
And it was thrown right where it had to be as Cephalo looks back, and there it is. 23-yard gain. Here's a man open. Bruce Hardy to the 10. Touchdown, Miami. He's in the end zone. This is unbelievable.
not because of defensive insufficiency. It's because of offensive execution. Strzok is having as fine a day as I've ever seen any quarterback have in a championship game. And I mean, he hits Hardy on a dead run. Woodrow Lowe had no chance. 50 yards, touchdown, 31-30.
Strzok, the official numbers, John, 21 of 27 for 312 yards and 4 touchdowns.
That last stat's the impressive one.
50 yards to tight end Bruce Hardy. Von Schaman is through the uprights with his extra point, and we are all tied up at 31-all with 1:28 to go in the third quarter. Who's to say where this one goes? We might be going for bonus. Go for 100 points.
Guy that gets the ball last, big fella.
Last at bat. We'll be back to the Orange Bowl after this.
Right now.
Don Strzok with numbers good for a Hall of Fame day. He came to Miami in '73 out of Virginia Tech as a 5th-round draft choice. Has been a backup quarterback his whole time here. There's the man he hit, Bruce Hardy, the tight end. Backed up Greasy. Backs up Whitley, but he's getting a lot more playing time as a relief pitcher. And today, he's had his greatest game, and we're tied at 31. James Brooks turns outside. And a fine special team play. Ronnie Lee, a tight end covering on special teams, and the Chargers start off in their own end, the 17-yard line.
So here we go again.
Amazing. 62 points on the board already, and they're even up, 31-all. He's got Kellen Winslow, and one of his rare drops, Kellen Winslow, who's caught 9 today for over 100 yards, can't hold on.
You see number 40 still trailing him. What they've done is assigned Mike Kozlowski to Kellen Winslow all day long, but it doesn't change the rest of the coverage. They're trying to stop him. They're doing everything they can to contain him. It's just the play of a great tight end, number 80. It's made it almost impossible.
Well, as the Miami defensive coordinator and assistant head coach Bill Arnsparger said before the game, you don't stop San Diego. You hope you can slow them down so they don't win the game. They're going to get yards and they're going to get points. They have today. Fouts takes a look on 2nd and 10, gets it away. Don McNeil, broken arm and all, is right there covering and bats the ball away. He fractured his right arm against Kansas City in the second last game of the season. Didn't play against Buffalo in the finale.
It's a good thing for Dan that his arm was broken, because he threw that ball away in desperation, not wanting to take a great big loss. And McNeil with 2 good arms might have brought that one down for an interception.
I think he would. It's pretty tough to catch it when you're with those arms bundled up like a lineman's. But he can still cover and he can still knock him down.
Too high.
Intercepted. Blackwood has the ball. Lyle Blackwood. Another lateral. Gerald Small takes the lateral and goes inside the 15-yard line. This incredible game.
We're taking a look at the zone defense. Now they've got pretty good penetration. They're rushing 5 people, but they're still playing a 3-deep zone down there. He was intending to go to Joyner. Had no play. Actually, Joyner was very well covered. Blackwood makes a great play intercepting, then laterals to Small. He makes a fine reception or return, and they're down to the 15. That ball got away from Dan. One of the few that has gotten away from him all day, but a big turnover.
Well, as you were pointing out, John, his previous throw was an errant one, almost intercepted. This one was right to the Miami defense. Now the Dolphins go to the run. That's Lyle Blackwood. He's moved around the league a little bit. Was at Baltimore for most of his career. Spent some time with the New York Giants. Came in here as a free agent. Won the starting safety job right alongside his brother Glenn. And he was in perfect position, as those Miami defenders so often are. There are the numbers for the two QBs.
That would be all right for 2 games, but 3 quarters, it's rather outstanding.
Most impressive, as much as the touchdowns, that Straka's put the ball up that often in desperation when they had to come back, and he's not been intercepted. The third quarter is winding down and winding out. So after 3 quarters of play, the game is tied 31-31, but when we come back, the Dolphins will be challenging to go ahead.
Sunday.
Miami Dolphins were losing. Impressive, as much as the touchdowns, that Straka's put the ball up that often in desperation when they had to come back, and he's not been intercepted. The third quarter is winding down and winding out. So after 3 quarters of play, the game is tied 31-31, but when we come back, the Dolphins will be challenging to go ahead.
Sunday.
Miami Dolphins were losing badly on the scoreboard, but they never lost their composure, John, and now they're set to go ahead.
And the first opportunity they've had, their defense set it up, but
Miami can take it in here or get the field goal. They'll be in front for the first time. Tony Nathan behind Ed Newman. Touchdown, Miami!
Tony Nathan's limping off, but if you've ever seen a play that was beautifully run, Ed Newman leading Tony Nathan, gets his block on Shaw, Nathan does the rest, right into the end zone. I don't know if Miami's worn San Diego down or the situation has fatigued them, but they do look an awful lot more tired than they did even early in the third quarter.
Good point. That has been historically the pattern here at Miami. When it's humid, the Dolphins roll in the fourth quarter. Nathan 12 yards into the end zone, and for the first time in this game, the Miami Dolphins lead it 38-31 after they were behind in the first quarter. If you joined us late, 24-0.
Well, Don, you see Nathan, he's just resting, trying to get ready to go back out and play a little more. And it is very humid here. We mentioned the weather's about 70 degrees. I think it's had a toll on San Diego's defense. I noticed that Wilbur Young is in the ballgame for the first time today, replacing one of the defensive linemen. You see him, big number 99, being run past the play as Nathan scores. This is the time when, if you are a great offense, and we've said it several times, San Diego undoubtedly is, they've got to get their team rallied again.
Well, we know what the Charger offense has done already today, put up 31 points. That's still not enough, but they could come back with a lot of time left. We have virtually the whole fourth quarter to be played. 14:53 remaining in the game. Tony Nathan, another of the Alabama players. The field is full of them today. Woodrow Lowe of San Diego and Don McNeil, and there's more AFC Divisional Playoff action coming up tomorrow here on NBC. The Buffalo Bills go to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, who compiled the AFC's best record this season after a losing season just a year ago. They made that kind of a comeback. Van Schaman will not allow a run back with that kickoff. It's into and out of the end zone.
Don, I generally say, now their backs are against it because the wind is also against them. But it's funny, most of the points have been scored going the other way, into the wind. So I guess it's had no effect on the throwers all day long. About 550 yards between them. I'd say they've been throwing pretty well into it.
Wesley Chandler comes wide to the right. Let's see what that wind is really kicking up now. Flag is straight out. Muncie, they're going for the football out of the Dolphins. Muncie's had a great season. He had one what they thought was a fatal fumble against Buffalo late in the game. But then the Chargers came back to win the regular season finale, beating Oakland 23-10. Got a lot of help from the Chicago Bears, who I think, John, would call themselves champions of the AFC West. They're 4-0 in that division this season.
Yeah.
On Unfortunately for the Bears, they couldn't beat anybody else. Second and 8. Good throw, and it's to Kellen Winslow. Who else? He's out to the 29-yard line.
And I see a late flag come in.
Yeah.
It's around the ball carrier. I look for the ball to go back up the field. That's a break. That's a break for San Diego. Dan's got Winslow out in motion. Comes back underneath the wide receiver cleaning out. You see Kozlowski trailing again, as he has been all afternoon, but he's been trailing close.
Statistician Steve Dance points out that Kellen Winslow, John, has now tied John Stallworth for the most catches in an AFC playoff game.
Number 58.
10.
First down.
You know, another factor to contend with is the crowd. This is a loud crowd. Now that they've got a 7-point lead, it has increased its velocity about 50%, and it just makes it that much more difficult for Fouts to call out to his wide receiver.
First and 10. Fouts throws. Oh.
Yep.
Here's another penalty marker. Folks on the Chargers sideline aren't happy about things at all. Chandler was whacked on the play.
Well, Glenn Blackwood is coming in. They're playing a double zone. Fouts is trying to beat it the way Strock did earlier. The ball is tipped. When it is, Blackwood is not playing the ball. He's playing the man. He thought he'd probably catch the ball. He wanted to see if he could jar him loose. At that time, you can't be looking around for the ball. You know you're behind. You're trying to catch up. It was a penalty, but it wasn't an intentional late hit.
But it is a 15-yard mark-off. Personal foul.
Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness. Number 47. First down.
Crazy numbers at the Orange Bowl. Wild numbers. Great game. Long way to go. 13:49 to play. Muncy running hard. And he's on the Miami side of the field now as he takes it all the way down to the 39-yard line. Chuck Muncy getting up ahead of steam and starting to roll. They say he's been a standout citizen in San Diego.
We mentioned the key people are the offensive linemen for San Diego. If they can move the defense of Miami off the line of scrimmage, which they've done on several occasions to give Muncy some running room, real good offensive line blocking. Muncy picks up another first.
Muncy gets the first indeed. They said they traded him, John, in New Orleans because he was forgetful. He forgot to come to practice.
He doesn't forget which way he's going.
He heading due east. Here's a little dump off back to Muncy. And a good defensive play. Ernest Roan tackles him behind the line of scrimmage at the 42-yard line of Miami.
This play was doomed from the start. It's a blitz. Fouts is trying to come to Muncy late. He expected his own coverage. When it's a blitz, the linebacker has man-to-man coverage on Muncy. Makes a good play. Gets by Don Masek, the center, who was trying to block on the screen. Holds it to a 1 or 2 yard loss. Here we go. We mentioned the blitz. A.J. Dewey, number 77, usually tips it off. He's coming along with 4 other down linemen.
Second and long, deeper drop. Chandler turns in. Kellen Winslow's taking a beating going out in his patterns now. They've got to try to slow the big guy up.
I don't know who was picking who that time.
They do run a lot of picks, too, like a basketball
Well, you
team.
see, Joyner, now Winslow's going down the field. He's getting a lot of attention right now. You see number 40 with him again. I can't tell whether he was going to Winslow or Joyner.
Well, it ended up not near either.
Right.
So now it's going to be 3rd down and 13 for San Diego. 42-yard line of Miami. The Dolphins having rallied back from a 24-0 deficit in the first quarter, and they now lead the game 38-31. Charlie Joyner lost it, and Miami was so close to an interception. Charlie felt he should have had it. The hands he's got, he doesn't drop many.
No, and he doesn't drop many like that. The ball was a little high thrown. George Rogers, if you're going to help your team as a punter, or Roberts, kick it out of bounds inside the 10.
I'm sure he'd like to do that. Let's see, he's giving it a good shot. Oh, it just walks in. It almost got out inside the 5. He'd love to do it here in Miami, the next Dolphin. But the ball comes out to the 20-yard line with 11:58 left to play in the game.
Time comes when you must watch your money.
We are back at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Don Criqui with John Brody on a warm January night. The Dolphins and the Chargers putting on an offensive display that has been most amazing as Miami leads the game 38-31 and has the ball first and 10 at their 20. Franklin gets it out to maybe the 22. Dolphins would like to be able to move the chain markers and run the clock now.
There's a good defense against it, which fools the offense. They expected a zone defense, and San Diego has played zone most of this whole ball game. That time they were in a blitz defense. You can't run an end sweep against a blitz. They shut it down, put them in a passing situation. 2nd and 8. I guess we're all not on top of everything.
Interesting. A montage of what's going on.
Yes, sir.
Not like this ball game, though. Here is the handoff to Nathan, and he weaves his way, and the San Diego defenders are there to knock him down again for virtually no gain for Miami. It's San Diego fighting to get back the ball.
San Diego knows its backs are up against the wall. Their defensive line has got to do the play right now. Laslavic overruns it a little bit, but gets Nathan stopped. When he does, Johnson picks it up.
And now the Dolphins come to 3rd down and 7. Strock's been very, very effective on 3rd downs, completing 6 of 8 for 1st downs. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns on 3rd down.
Eugen Bennett's going up top now.
Didn't get it. No, he did not. Fine play by Pete Shaw, the Chargers. Strong safety delivers the hit.
Depends which foot he puts it on.
Holy man, I think he might have it where they have the ball.
Well, take a quick look. Now, they're going to give him as much forward progress as he made. His foot actually came down on the other side of the line. It looks like an accurate call to me. I mean, wherever it's spotted, it's within a foot of a 1st down if it's not.
He had to get it to the 30.
Well, if he's touching the 30,
it's going to be the nose of the ball
again. He doesn't get a 1st down.
Got another one. They get the 1st down. Look at that.
Unless the markers are off, he had to get it once he touched the 30. Another well-thrown ball by Don.
It was. It has been a game full of well-thrown balls by Strock. Clock running, 10:15 to play. Dolphins get 4 new downs and send Cephalo wide to the left and Duriel Harris on the right flank. Harris, and he's across the 35 to the 36. Dolphins get 6 yards in that 1st down play. Lyndon King and Willie Buchanan are on the tackle.
They gave that blitz again, Don. When they did so, this is a perfect play to call against it. Cornerback has to back off. When he does, it's a one-on-one situation. The pursuit's going to be a little bit late. 2nd and 4, they like it. How's that one?
Astounding. Off the bench to do it. Tony Nathan runs hard and runs for a Miami 1st down as the game clock winds down to 9:12 to play, and the Dolphins keep the ball moving and the chain markers too. Lowe and Shaw on the stop. Tony Nathan playing with a knee injury that's kept him out in recent games.
The offensive line is just having a ball right now. Give us a chance. John Geisler leads, makes a good block. Nathan doesn't need much of a crack.
He's made some big plays. You recall his earlier run in this quarter. 12 yards into the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown. Miami's first lead of the day. On 1st down, right back to the run, right up the middle. Andra Franklin, the 228-pound fullback from Nebraska.
I would think that this man would probably have to consider, what do we have to do? Okay, 24-0 lead. They come back and tie it. You take them down on another drive, put it out at 31-24, and now you're 7 back.
Yep. One thing about Andra Franklin, Jim, when he's in there, you know he's going to run it or block. He doesn't catch it. He's got 3 receptions for the year. But he did set a Miami rookie rushing record with over 700 yards. Eddie Hill comes in, and the swing pass is a little out of his reach. That ball was floating perilously on the right flank there.
Well, it was a safe ball. You know, people say, hey, when you throw in those flats, it's always very dangerous. That was a play where he had nothing but room to throw the ball in. He led Hill very quick. He caught him on the dead run. He'd have picked up 4 or 5 yards, but there was no danger.
Now again, the Dolphins and Don Strock come to a 3rd down play, 3rd down and 8 from the 42-yard line. 7:56 to go in the game. Clock is stopped on the incomplete pass. 38-31 Miami. Pick up the blitz. Hardy works his way ahead, and the Dolphins do it again. They get the first down. Time and again, the Dolphins respond with a big play.
Strock made a nice throw, allowing Hardy to make his move, stop, then turn back, throwing it right in between 2 linebackers. And Hardy made an excellent play once he did get to the line. Looked like he lost the ball, got a good bounce, and recovered it again.
You remember Bruce Hardy's last reception prior to this one went for 50 yards and a touchdown to tie the game. Strock has now thrown 31 times, completed 26 for 334 yards and 4 touchdowns. And the game clock is down to 7:33 to play. If the Dolphins complete this game with a victory, it will go into the books as the greatest comeback victory in NFL playoff history. Detroit was down 20-0 to San Francisco way back in 1957. When John Brody was an Appleseed young quarterback. Miami is down 24-0 in this game. Tony Nathan, bruised on the previous play, comes back in to carry the ball to the 48. Miami huddling at their leisure now. A little age on Coach Shula this
Well,
one.
it is time to look at the clock. You've got a 7-point lead. What you would really love is to maintain ball control. I know this ball game's going topsy-turvy. 69 points scored, but right now, this is what they hoped they could do when they started the ball game. It's the first time they've really been able to do it.
2nd and 8. Quick out. Look at these sure-handed tight ends. Another first down. Bruce Hardy turns up.
Here's a very safe pass, very well thrown. Little crossing pattern. Matmore to the inside. Hardy to the outside. Let Pete Shaw make the coverage. Well thrown. Picks up another first down. They're on the move again.
Every time that Don Strock has come on to relieve David Woodley, John, of course, Woodley has started the next game. What do you do next week if Miami wins and they go to the AFC Championship game?
I would imagine that that's Shula's decision.
That's for surely his decision. Here is Tony Nathan turning outside. He's knocked down, about a yard loss on the play.
I would imagine that he has a viewpoint about that, but he's not too concerned about it right now. When you're playing as well as Strock is playing today, you can change a man's whole career around, okay? You come off having not thought to be a real top starter. You come off the bench. He's played like a starter today, okay? Because when he got started, it was early in the 2nd quarter. The whole 3 quarters of play, he had to go through the halftime and all the rigmarole. So he's played like a starter, and he's played beautifully. And it could change a man's whole career and change people's viewpoint of him.
Kind of a pleasant dilemma if Miami does win for Coach Shula. which one he goes with. They won 11 games with the young guy starting at quarterback. Here's a swing pass going out. Bruce Hardy getting free again and goes down the sidelines. It's another Miami first down. Mike Williams knocks him out of bounds.
I don't think you'll see him throw the ball anymore. He might, but I don't think you'll see it. They're now well within field goal range. They're moving the ball down the field. They can eat up another minute or so on the clock. It's already at 5:34. San Diego's dragging.
San Diego defense has been on the field a long time, and they are dragging. So is Coach Coryell.
I'd be numb.
I believe Coach is. First and 10 Miami. They go to Nathan. Behind Newman, Tony Nathan turns upfield and takes it down to the 21-yard line. Laslovic tackles him, and Nathan keeps it inbounds, and the game clock goes down to 5:20 to play and ticking.
No fooling around now. Give the ball to Tony. Let Andrew Franklin take it for a couple yards. Eat up another 45 to 50 seconds on the clock. Second down and 8 yards to go, but the play took 45 to 50 seconds before they'll have to start it in motion again.
Miami, which couldn't get doing anything at the outset, has 23 first downs now. Second and 8. Back to the sure thing, right up the middle. Andrew Franklin gets ahead. San Diego says, we've got the ball, and they do. The Chargers get a fumble recovery, and with 4:39 left to play, San Diego trailing by 7 goes on offense.
Everything's happened, but this is the one thing they just knew couldn't happen. Andrew Franklin fumbles at the most critical time where they can darn near run the clock out. Now San Diego's got a chance to get back in it.
Tonight, the Martins are watching their whole world go up in flames. A home they may never get back.
All-State update. Home replacement guarantee.
The Martins have homeowners insurance, but they don't have Allstate's home replacement guarantee. It's better than inflation protection alone, because it guarantees Allstate will pay to totally rebuild your home, brick for brick, regardless of cost. Today, you need Allstate's home replacement guarantee. Another reason you're in good hands with Allstate.
It's going to be a little short. About 70 miles. This is Bob for Texaco Hope in the Gulf of Mexico. This water is 260 feet deep. It can cost up to 6 times more to drill for oil out here than on land. But we got to do this to help meet your energy needs in the years ahead. You can trust the star at home and in your car.
The greatest gymnast in United States history, 3-time world champion, the first American ever to win a gold medal at the World Championships. Kurt Thomas returns to competition Sunday, January 17th on NBC Sports World.
On consecutive evenings at the famed Orange Bowl, one of the famous football arenas in America, NBC has been pleased to bring you 2 great games. The 1982 Orange Bowl last night as Clemson wins the national championship. And now this spectacular playoff game. Fouts gets up, eludes the rush, gets it away, and Charlie Joyner comes back and catches the ball. And he is out to the 33-yard line. He has a first down. The fumble recovery could be a very big one.
I'll tell you what else could be a big one. Kellen Winslow came back to try and help out Charlie Joyner on the run. He hit Glenn Blackwood, and he took himself out of the ball game. He might have broken his arm.
Woo. See if we pick that up again.
Dan was able to get up, had good enough pass protection. His offensive line's holding him out very well. He hits Joyner. Now watch. Okay, there Winslow comes back. He's not in the lineup.
Chandler. Boy, you got to get him and throw a net on him.
Jeez, what a play to get out of bounds.
Chandler, they say he's even better after he gets the ball.
They're taking a look at Winslow right now.
Yeah, look at that. They're looking to go.
I'd sure like to have him in there when I need a touchdown to keep my season alive.
Caught 10 today.
That's right. We mentioned how he got hurt. We'll see another picture of it. He's just trying to help out Joyner. Makes a good block, but hurt his shoulder.
play. Muncie runs. They stuff him hard at the 40. The game clock is running. 3:43 left to play. Miami Dolphins 38. San Diego Chargers 31. And the clock continues to tick. And right now we pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
This is WCKT, Channel 7, Miami.
We have not seen Eric Sievers catch any balls today. We're just about due.
Eric Sievers comes in now as the tight end set to the right.
3rd and 2. You know they're taking 2 downs to get the first.
Fouts takes a look. Joyner pulls it down. He takes a whack but holds on. It's a first down for the Chargers. And the silence is deafening here in the Orange Bowl with that catch as the Dolphins now see the Chargers get 4 new downs.
And the hitting is definitely picking up.
It is.
I know these fellas are bushed. When you've got a ball game with as many points scored as this one has produced, everyone's tired. The action level's been extremely high. The excitement level's high. Man, this is a season.
It's been fabulous, and we're coming right down to the final gun of this one. 2:26 left to play. 38-31 Miami leads, but San Diego has a first down, and they have the right arm of Dan Fouts ready to unload again. Completed to Charlie Joyner, and he's inside the 40-yard line of Miami. 16-yard gain. Tonight on NBC, Andy Williams and the Oak Ridge Boys join Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell sisters. Then sparks fly when Stella's uncle Buster explodes upon the scene in Harper Valley. Followed by Gabe Kaplan in Lewis and Clark and Rona Barrett in Television Inside and Out all tonight on NBC. Local news and then Saturday Night Live. Those will follow the football game except in the West Coast and Mountain Zone. Right now, the Chargers on first down get some good yards with Muncie taking it up the middle. And the game clock is ticking down to the 2-minute warning.
Great offensive play, though, Don, by both sides. This is considered to be one of the top defenses in the game.
Now we get word from the sideline. John L. Winslow really needed was the shoulder pad fixed. He's back in.
Is that why it was dipping the way it was? I got to feel it hurt a little bit.
We'll be back in the Orange Bowl right after this.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes. 1978, Art Rooney's Steelers against the Browns. Bradshaw hands off to Blyer, who gives to Swan, who pitches back to Bradshaw, who whales a 40-yard strike to Benny Cunningham that beats the Browns in sudden death 15-9. The Steelers handled the ball no less than 6 times on a flea flicker that brings victory to Pittsburgh on the game's final play.
Here comes another bunch of aluminum cans headed for recycling. Alcoa takes back the aluminum cans by the billions, and it's worth it because there's precious energy to be saved by remelting the cans and making brand new aluminum. Recycling, we're doing it now, and new cans are on the way. Made of light, convenient, energy-saving aluminum.
We can't wait for tomorrow.
With John Brody, this is Don Criqui back at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. AFC Divisional Playoff football has been spectacular today as the Miami Dolphins, down 24-0 in the first quarter, rallied back, trailed at the half on a spectacular play, a lateral play that ended up in the end zone for a touchdown. They were down by only 7 at the half. Then they tied the game. Then they fell behind. Then Miami tied the game, and now they've gone ahead. But San Diego's moving here with 2 minutes to play. Fouts looks, tip ball, and Kellen Winslow was open to get it.
Except I think Beaucamper got his hand on it.
He did tip it.
They love to play him in passing situations. He started today, remember, only his second start of the season. He's played very well. That's the biggest play he's made all day. Kellen Winslow trying to get open. Has no problem doing that. Getting him the ball is another factor.
Kellen Winslow, who's already caught 10 today to tie John Stallworth for the record in an AFC playoff game. 3rd down and 5 for San Diego. Again, it's to Winslow. It's a 1st down for the Chargers. The emotional level of this stadium has gone up and down like a rocket today.
It's such a tough job for Mike Kozlowski to handle Winslow once he gets in a position where he's like rebounding. All right, he's such a big target. That's about all Kozlowski can do. He's trying to cover him all over the field. I don't think any man can do it.
The president and owner of Miami's Dolphins, Joe Robbie, on the sidelines. 1:18 to play. Clock's running. San Diego with 1st down, but trailing by 7. Here's the throw. Wes Chandler has the ball inside the 10-yard line.
What a catch.
Lyle Blackwood and Fulton Walker combine on the stop.
How many athletes can go up, put their attention on getting the ball in the middle of a crowd? He cuts underneath Fulton Walker, catches the ball, and actually protects himself with his shoulder pads against Blackwood. That's a great reception. Puts him in a position to get a tie.
The 69 points scored in this playoff game, John, are a playoff record.
I'd also like to make sure I didn't give Miami too much time to get the ball back if I do score.
We could be heading to OT.
Watch out. Winter's here, and snow's going to get you, and cold's going to get you, and high fuel bills are going to get you because you still haven't added more insulation to your attic. So do it now. Get more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation and add another layer to put your house in the pink. See your dealer or contractor. Buy more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation now, before winter gets you.
Hey, Michelob Light for the winning team, okay?
You guys would do that for us?
Would a bunch of guys really go at it this hard just for a beer? Well, consider it's Michelob Light, and that means a rich, smooth taste you can compare to any beer you like.
You guys never played like that before.
Hey, we never played for a Michelob Light before.
Michelob Light. Compare the taste.
You're looking at Dan Fouts. The times that he's come back this year, and 3 times today after it looked like they were going to blow Miami out, the quality that's necessary is being a tough nut. And if there ever was a tough nut, he's the toughest I've met.
Well, those former locker room boys of the 49ers, they go on to be good quarterbacks. Dan Fouts boxes out. He's going to run. Now he throws. There's a man open. James Brooks, touchdown, San Diego with 59 seconds to play.
Are you kidding me?
I don't know. It's going to stand. No markers down.
There won't be any markers. He finally, you know where he got a little lucky is he had 2 people in the area of the reception. Fouts almost let the ball go here. As he comes out, he's got Winslow trying to make the catch. Thinks the ball's intended for him. Brooks is playing back up, runs right underneath him, picks it off. Back to within 1. This can tie it up.
The fumble at the other end of the field when Miami was positioning the ball for what would have been a lock-up field goal. Now turns the other way, and the Chargers take it down the field, and if Finerska hits this, the game is tied with 58 seconds to go. Sports fans, we are tied up at 38 all.
Let's not talk about overtime, though, Crick, because this baby still got 58 seconds.
That's right. You probably have 2 touchdowns in 58 seconds. Where this is gone. Form chart holds up. We'll be back for the final minute of regulation, maybe more, when we come back to the Orange Bowl after this.
Michelob brings you the 7-day weekend, Southern style. The style and grace that is the South is reflected in one great beer, Michelob. That smooth and mellow taste has its own special way of saying, y'all come back and see us anytime.
There's nothing better on a rainy night in Georgia.
Put a little weekend in your week.
Yeah.
The new Chryslers, engineered for quality and luxury. Like Chrysler New Yorker, it just could be the best luxury car value in America. Chrysler Cordova, the beauty of engineering excellence in a personal luxury car. The Chrysler LeBaron series. They combine high mileage and luxury. They are like no other cars in America, Europe, or Japan. The new Chryslers, engineered to be the best Chryslers ever built.
Get a car, get a check. 300 to 1,000 on select new Chryslers in Plymouth. See participating dealer for full details.
We're back with 58 seconds to play. What looked to be a very long day for the Miami Dolphins has turned into one of the most unbelievable playoff games in NFL history. It is already in the books as the highest scoring playoff game ever, with 76 points. There's a mistake. San Diego kicks off out of bounds, so they'll have to kick off again from their 30.
Here's one that was busted just before the end of the half. You remember when Bernishka really had to go at it from 55 yards out. Little body English. It missed by a foot. As you look back at it, it looks like a big play. But you know, because of the condition of the game, the way it was played, all the scores that have taken place, I don't think you can look at a play 2 quarters back and figure it's an indicator. So let's take a look at one that we know is. Here is Kellen Winslow and Brooks. Winslow don't get it. Brooks will.
Brooks must have waved him off, said, big guy, I got this one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Winslow is bewildered. He's not believing that there was anyone behind him. And when you're going after a ball, the really outstanding receivers run blind after it. He's thinking, I know I can't get, oh my goodness. He's got to be the most surprised man in the house to see that.
Brooks comes up to about his letters. Now they knock it down the field on the hop. Miami picks it at the 30. 35, and Eddie Hill takes it to the 40-yard line. 52 seconds left.
Woo-wee.
That's a lot of time for an offense.
You mentioned that this might be the best playoff game you've ever seen. Miami has a penchant for being in pretty good ones. The last playoff game they played in was against Kansas City in 1971. You remember that, baby?
Went for a while, didn't it?
Yeah.
Christmas Day is 71. Miami beating Kansas City 27-24. There's been 5 overtime games in postseason play.
Everybody's at the line.
Stock has time. He throws and San Diego very nearly intercepts. Glenn Edwards comes up on the ball at the 44-yard line. The first overtime playoff game, Yankee Stadium in New York, December 28th, 1958.
Well, you can bet right now that Shula's trying to get 3 more points on the board. He's got Strock throwing the ball a little overthrown to Joe Rose. Pine almost picked it up.
There's Uwe Van Schamen. Looking up at the clock, it shows 46 seconds to go. Baltimore beat the Giants in that first playoff game. Dallas beat Houston in the playoff game in the Old American Football League in 62.
9 men on the front, Don. They don't want to give any open receiver.
Rock cocks his arm, looks at the intercepted, and dropped. Is it
that was caught. That's got to be a completion.
Yep, it is. It's a first down. It is a first down for Miami. An interception and a lost ball. Fumble.
Well, let's take a look. Remember the rules. If you have the ball in your grasp, when it comes down, you've still got it. Even if it gets out, gets jarred away. Willie Buchanan makes a great interception. That's one of the problems with the rule. When you hit the ground, if that ball falls away, it still counts.
It's interesting, John, the San Diego kickoff after the tying touchdown was a squib kick. They bounced it down the field. Miami got it with an up back and started out in good field position with a minute to go.
Yeah, well, the first ball, when it was kicked out of bounds, they were really concerned about a long kickoff return. I don't know. They've been pretty good on kickoff coverage. It's easy to second guess. I won't try to do that. I know right now that Miami has to make about 12 to 13 more yards to get within Von Schamen's range. That means anything inside the 40. I think he can get up to 55. There is a wind behind the Dolphins.
Right.
That has to be taken into consideration.
Kind of a gusting, swirling wind, no.
How about those stats? 7 touchdown passes, 660 some odd yards.
And And rather amazing, John, the fact that they, between them, put the ball up 76 times and only 2 have been intercepted.
That's right. You think Von Schaman isn't a little pensive?
He does well in pressure situations. Uwe Von Schaman. He's hoping to get the chance. 34 seconds to go. Another big one coming up tomorrow on NBC. Buffalo at Cincinnati. Pregame at 12:30. Here's a pass downfield, and the Dolphins are in range. 26 seconds.
We saw Von Schaman in meditation, which everyone that follows Miami knows he goes through in critical situations. Now it's time to get in and do the kicking. I don't know whether Shula will try and get a little bit farther down the field or send Von Schaman in now, but a penalty would make it an awfully long field goal try. Now he's got it within a 47-yard range with the wind.
So it's 1st and 10 now, down to the 31-yard line.
What a perfect throw. This is just capping off one of the greatest performances I've ever seen.
Glad you could be with us today on NBC, starting out 82 with those 3 bowl games yesterday. A national champion crowned here last night when the Clemson Tigers completed their perfect season. And now the Miami Dolphins, who've not won a playoff game since 1974, looking to put it up with a field goal if they get in range. So delighted you can be with us, and there's more tomorrow when Buffalo plays at Cincinnati. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ohlmeyer. Football coordinating producer Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game has been produced by George Finkel and directed by John Gonzalez. And we thank them all and our excellent NBC technical team that's put the pictures on the screen as the Miami Dolphins lost a fumble down here not that long ago, and the Chargers went the other way to tie the game. Look at those 76 points.
And except for the first quarter, they were all earned. You know, early in the first quarter, there were some gimmies. But since then, both offenses have been running up and down the field.
First down. 23 seconds to play in a tie game. Figueredo right up the middle. He's down to the 26. 17 seconds left.
They're going to let it run down, I think.
He's got it right in the middle, right where they want it. So now those place kickers who all the jokes are made about get set to come out.
Yeah, it's time to stand up and get counted. He's done it about as well as anyone ever has in this game.
Well, we have this brief moment. Our thanks to our NBC statistician Steve Dans, to Harry Von Suskill, Mike Horvath in the booth. 4 seconds left to go as Von Schaman comes out. Once when he was a collegiate at Oklahoma, Oklahoma was then playing at Ohio State when Ohio State was the #1 team in the country. With time almost out, he went out on the field. The Buckeyes called a couple of timeouts, and everybody at Ohio Stadium was chanting, "Block that kick," and he just stood in the middle of the field and waved and directed the crowd. Then went out and wrapped one for about 47 yards that won the game. So he can't handle the heat. He's done that here in Miami. He sent a very popular Dolphin to the sidelines, or at least away from the Dolphins, when Garo Yepremian, the Booten Cypriot, went to tie-making and made a few stops between then and retirement. Now Von Schaman with the hold by Don Strock at the 33-yard line. It'll be a 43-yard attempt straight away. A wind at his back. Kuchenberg snaps, and that's almost as big as the kick itself. Block, no good. We go to overtime. Overtime in Miami.
And Olmo shifts again. Sometimes you don't get 2 chances. We remember Danilo made good on his second effort. A lot of times you don't get that second one. Take a look. The snap was just a little high. Other than that, there was no problem. Von Schaman didn't really hit it well. I don't think it was blocked at all. I really think that he just didn't hit the ball very well. It came out of there kind of a sputter ball. Bad time to have one if you're from Miami. And new life for San Diego.
Rose, you and I are going to have to get a room here at the Orange Bowl. We're spending a lot of time here.
That's all right. I'll tell you,
great.
if anybody wants to see 2 better football games than we've seen in the last 2 days, I'd like to know where they're located.
And it is indeed not over yet. Now, of course, the overtime, they go to a 15-minute max in the first overtime period. The first score ends it. Each team in the playoffs gets 3 timeouts in overtime. In the regular season, they get 2. And, of course, in the regular season in overtime, if they play the first 15 minutes and there's no score, it goes in the books as a tie. And that happened here in Miami when the Jets and Miami Dolphins play to a regular season tie. But tonight we'll play it until somebody wins it.
And one of the biggest coin tosses in the history of these two groups is about to be made, because if you take a look and say, okay, 76 points have been scored, I'd like to have the ball.
Well, you could pull an Abner Haynes playoff game many years ago. Abner Haynes, his team won the toss.
San Diego won it.
Abner elected to kick off.
Yeah. And they won anyway.
Yeah. So we're going to go to overtime when we come back to the Orange Bowl in Miami. What a game.
I have a headache. And I feel lousy. I would like you to give me an aspirin if possible.
Aspirin?
For the last 10 or 15 years, I've used aspirin.
That's interesting, Mick, because the #1 selling brand of pain reliever doesn't contain aspirin.
What is this product?
It's Tylenol.
I've never used Tylenol.
Today, we'd like you to try extra-strength Tylenol. You know, you can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription.
I have to see what it does for me.
Well, look at the difference in the amount of medicine in the leading pain relievers.
Extra-strength Tylenol has more pain reliever. I have to try it. No pain, no pressure. It's super. It's great. You know, I'm really pleased. I'm ready to take on my workday and do the best job that I possibly can. I'm impressed.
Try extra-strength Tylenol. Capsules and tablets, aspirin-free. And you can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription.
Extra-strength Tylenol is a super product.
The score here at the Orange Bowl, 38 San Diego, 38 Miami. We'll be back after these messages from your local station.
Saturday, Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell sisters. With the Oak Ridge Boys. Andy Williams and a salute to Movie Cowboys.
Believe that I'm not, it's just me.
Then, to get Uncle Buster out of trouble, Stella puts the heat on Bobby. Whoa. Saturday.
We've just been informed it was this man who's done so much offensively for San Diego all day long, who got his hand on a game-winning field goal, forced it into overtime, did a little for the defense that time.
And the flip of the coin works San Diego's way also, as they'll get the kickoff to open overtime. James Brooks fields it at his 4. And superior special teams play. Steve Schul comes down and makes the hit inside the 15-yard line of the Chargers.
And this is the reason we're here. Fouts, 8 yards to go for a touchdown, tries to put the ball to Winslow. Brooks running under it. Pulls it to within 1. Bernishka, extra point, 38-38. But it's getting tougher right now. They've got a long way to move it.
It was in 1977 we had the last playoff overtime game. Oakland beat Baltimore at 37-31 in December of 77. Fouts on first down, takes a look, swings it out. Once he can't get near it.
One of the few times that you'll ever see miscommunication between Fouts and one of his backs in a simple little route. That time Muncie stopped. Fouts thought he was going to continue on, tried to hit him on a dead run. I think conditions get to everybody. But Dan Fouts less than anybody I've seen.
Hey, this game will get to some people. Whew. Gotten to me. Over Van Schaman had one chance. He's hoping for another. 2nd and 10, San Diego. We're in overtime. It's tied 38 all. Kellen Winslow gets another one and gets ahead. Looks like he has a first down for the Chargers.
What a play. I'll tell you, when you're a target as big as Winslow, and if you saw the play from its inception, while Fouts was out there scrambling for his life, he was out by the sideline jumping up and down. Now, at 6'6", a quarterback might find you sometime. There he is, giving Fouts the target, picks him up, big first down, gets out of trouble.
Kellen Winslow gives you a whole lot to look at as the target, and now he's caught 12 passes. He has just continued to break his own AFC playoff record. Muncy running hard to the outside. Knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Short gain on the play. 30 seconds gone by now in overtime.
Good defensive play by Betters to string the play out. Keep Muncy from turning the corner.
Doug Betters, defensive left end. He missed Miami's last game with an infection in his back. Back and ready to go. Baumhauer, the big middle guard. Jim Bokamper starting at right end for Denherter, although Denherter's been in there to rush the passer. Larry Gordon, A.J. Dewey. Ernest Roan backing the line. Here is Fouts taking a look. They almost get to him, and they separate the ball from Kellen Winslow.
We've got a penalty down here, too, Donnie.
At the line of scrimmage. At the line of scrimmage. A.J. Dewey's waving a finger at San Diego.
False start.
I'm not sure I wouldn't decline that one. Give him one down instead of 2 more. You know he's throwing the ball.
8th penalty of this game against San Diego. The Dolphins are considering that. Now they step it off. Back to the 27-yard line.
False start, number 66.
Kellen's hurt again. It's been a long day in very humid weather.
They have no choice in a false start. They have to take the 5 yards, so now it's 2nd down and 12. Bout stands in, throws and makes the connection. It's a 1st down. Charlie Joyner coming off the left flank, turns up over the middle, and the Chargers are out to their 42-yard line with a 14-yard gain.
Well, I'll tell you, you can go to just about any one of their receivers in critical situations. You keep saying, hey, here's a big 3rd down play. Chandler's made them. Joyner's made them. Winslow's made them. Muncy's picked them up on the ground, and Fouts has been unerring. Thrown about 3 bad balls all day long. That's not many when you're throwing 40.
Well, they're up in the 80s, the 2 quarterbacks together, and there's been only 2 interceptions. 1 each way. 1st and 10 now, San Diego in overtime. Muncy takes it up the middle. He keeps on trucking and gets all the way to the Miami 45-yard line.
Oh, boy. Offensive line is grinding now. They know 1 drive is all we need.
Miami has led once in this game after trailing 24-0. That's when they went ahead 38-31.
Good offensive line, Serge. You can see that Doug Wilkerson couldn't even find anybody to block. When you throw the way the Chargers throw, once in a while that'll happen.
This game keeps on going till we have a winner. We've played 2 minutes in overtime now. Fouts throws a free ball. It was off the hands of tight end Eric Sievers. Larry Gordon was the closest to it when it came down.
Now we've got the other man at the moment. Trying to loosen up, but they're not in field goal position yet. Sievers makes a pretty good move on Kozlowski, who's in replacement of Winslow. You notice it hasn't changed any of the defensive thoughts as far as Miami's concerned. Just take his replacement, man for man.
They do a big play.
And both sides have been coming up with big play after big play. He's in there because of his pass rush. He does his job and gets to Fouts.
Only the 2nd sack today of quarterback Dan Fouts of San Diego.
He doesn't get many.
And now we're 2.5 minutes into overtime. And 3rd and 20. Coming up for San Diego. Fouts stands in, finally throws it. Here comes Kellen Winslow. He got the 1st down.
He may have.
Kellen Winslow gets the 1st down. The 3rd and 20, and San Diego delivers.
I'm telling telling you, they played it off, they played it soft, anything just to keep. That's just fatigue, folks. He has played every play as hard as he could. His shoulder is hurting him. They might have had a shoulder pad change, but he'd like to have a brand new right arm at the moment. He just sucked it up. He knows where he has to get. Made an excellent play to get underneath the crowd. Kozlowski's got a hold of him again, but not before he picks up the first.
And that was as big a play as any.
They all become so big right now.
Kellen Winslow with a Hall of Fame day, 12 receptions today, but now he's down and out of the game. Eric Sievers is back in. As on 3rd and 20, Fouts and Winslow connect again.
They need about, they need about 7 yards for Brniška to have a good shot at a field goal right now because the wind is against them.
Well, they have 4 new downs to try to get those yards when we come back.
To the men who took the Andrea Doria treasure back from the sea, this bud's for you.
This bud's for you. There's no one else who does it quite the way you do. Quite the way you do. So here's to you. You know it isn't only what you say, it's what you do. This bud's for you. This bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah.
This is Don Criqui with John Brody at the Orange Bowl in Miami. We're in overtime in this AFC Divisional playoff game. The Miami Dolphins led only once. They were up 38-31, and they were driving in position for what would have been a lock-up field goal in regulation. But rookie Andre Franklin lost the ball in a fumble. San Diego went the other day, scored, and the game went to overtime, and now the Chargers looking to get position. Take it down inside the 25-yard line. They are in field goal range.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they send in their kicking team very shortly because I think the longer a kicker sits there and thinks about it and waits, the more things that can happen. You can get penalties, you can get sacks, you can get a lot of things. I don't think it does an awful lot of good to just sit there and run out the clock because they've got nothing to run out. They play until somebody scores.
Well, we've gone 4 minutes into overtime now, and the San Diego Chargers winning that flip, taking it down the field, down to the 23-yard line. It would be a 40-yard attempt from here.
Knowing Fouts' history, though, he's gone for touchdowns in similar situations on 4 different occasions, so I don't guess he'll change his viewpoint.
James Brooks working his way all the way down to the 9-yard line. Now what does Coach Coryell do?
Boy, I'll tell you what, they just get after it and don't stop till the gun sounds. Here we go, James Brooks with a big play, the offensive line. Rejuvenated with a chance to get back in the ball game. 82 passes thrown today, but I don't think you'll see any more.
Overtime is now almost 5 minutes old. Don Shula can only hope now. Now they're going to take it right up the middle again. Here's Chuck Muncie down to about the 8-yard line. It will be a 25-yard field goal from here when you consider the 7-yard deep hole and the extra 10 into the end zone. And here comes the field goal unit. Ralph Brniška. Ralph Brniška comes out. You remember his counterpart, Uwe van Schomen, not that long ago, appeared to have what would be the game winner for Miami. Set to go as regulation time closed out, but his was tipped.
The last big situation he got in, he was successful against Tampa Bay in the last few seconds of the ball game. He's a very good clutch player.
We all find out together right now. It's no good. It's wide to the left. It is no good. We keep on playing.
There have been so many great plays, Don, and this crowd has been on its feet for the last 3 quarters of play.
to win it with field goals that seemingly were right on. Each team couldn't deliver. Now, Don Strock stands in, throws, and it's caught. Duriel Harris might have got it on the one hop, though. Going to get himself a 15-yard penalty if he doesn't back off.
Because the umpire was the one that called the play. He had a perfect angle on it. Duriel's made some great plays today. Whether we get a good angle or not, we can't tell you. How can you tell? I don't know whether he got his hand underneath the ball or not.
We've now played almost 6 minutes of overtime. 9:08 on the first overtime period remaining. Second down and 10. Locked in a long one. Duriel Harris on the fly down the far sidelines, and Strock with that long distance delivery is a bit long. So third down and 10 comes up, and if the Dolphins don't convert here and have to punt, San Diego could get good field position again. NFL 81 begins at 12:30 tomorrow from Riverfront Stadium, Cincinnati, Ohio, as the Bengals, with the best record in the AFC this year, host the Buffalo Bills in another AFC Divisional playoff game here on NBC.
Throughout the year, Don, this has been the most damaging situation for the Chargers throughout the season, because when they're in 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, that's when they've been burned. That's when they've played it a little too deep. That's when people have hit in front of them and behind them.
Well, it's 3rd and 10 right now for Miami. Strock takes a look. He's going real long. Nobody near it. Nobody near it. Here comes the punter, Tom Morris.
He wanted to go to Hardy. He couldn't do it. Hardy pulled up. He thought he was going right down the field. He tried to throw it over the whole show. Had he read Hardy, had a little more time to throw, he'd have had a big play.
This is Don Criqui with John Brody at the Orange Bowl in Miami, Florida. The Miami Dolphins and the San Diego Chargers tied up 38-all. We are in overtime, the 6th playoff overtime game in NFL history. George Roberts standing at his, Tom Morris standing at his 5-yard line, hits it from the 10 and hits it well. James Brooks is forced into a fair catch at his 37. So Fouts in the Charger offense comes out again, trying to get in field goal range after a 43-yard punt.
You know, what's the best indication of a viewpoint I've ever seen is today, both these teams have had at least 3 chances where it looked like it was a certain victory for them at a given time. And people say, why don't you do this and why don't you do that? Because there's no certainty in this game. You just have to keep playing it. And I bet if San Diego gets another chance, they're going to have a go at it until it's 4th down. Maybe Fouts is right.
The coaches and the kickers. No smiles right now for Ralph Penerska, but he might get another shot. Pitch back. Muncy runs well and runs out to the 46-yard line. Rule him out at the 45 where he stepped out, but he gained 8 on that first down carry, so it's 2nd down and 2.
You know, we mentioned in the 3rd quarter that San Diego might be getting a little tired. I think both sides are equally tired right now.
I would think so. 8:40 left in the first overtime period. That on NBC, Barbara Mandrell and the Mandrell sisters, Harper Valley, Lewis and Park. Local news after television inside and out, and then Saturday Night Live. Right now, the pitch back goes again to Muncy. And Miami has the ball. Miami has the ball.
Said he's the most talented running back in the history of this game, possibly outside of Jimmy Brown. That's what's kept him from being recognized as one of the truly great backs in this game. I don't know if it's luck, fortune, what have you, but I know the kind of football he's played all day long to have something like that happen.
He took on the tackler and lost the ball, and so now Miami has it in overtime. First down and 10, and here comes Tony Nathan turning the corner. Darting to the outside. Nathan dives to the 44-yard line.
There goes Uva into his routine again.
You might want to change routines. Doug Betters has gone the distance on defense for Miami, and he just came up with that last free football.
Those turnovers, if actually they started Miami on a comeback. They've given them a last-ditch chance. Last ditch? What am I talking about? There may be 4 or 5 before we're through.
This is really, it's amazing how this has gone. The equilibrium of the game, swinging. Motion level just going up and down in this Orange Bowl. And here's a pass in the flat. Came in on the one hop. Nope. Bruce Hardy, who's caught some big balls today for Miami, gets it on the one hop, so it comes back.
And Louis Kelcher, who's made some big plays, forced Strock to throw it low. Hit him just as he was getting rid of the ball. Couldn't get enough on it. Mike Adamle and Bryant Gumbel down there. What do you think of this one?
7:42 left to go now in this first overtime period. We keep on playing. We could go for who knows how long. We are in the playoffs. We are in overtime, and Miami has the ball, third down and 8 at the 45-yard line of San Diego. Throws Hunter just before he was hit. Comes in a little low for Nat Moore.
Boy, Nat made a fine effort to get that ball. It's all out for everybody on every play right now because any effort could win the ball game for your club. Just couldn't quite get to it. Another one bouncer. San Diego's defense has been up to the task in the last couple series.
They've been putting a good rush. That time they forced Strock to release the ball. He was hit hard, and now Tom Morris is back out to punt for the Dolphins. He'll try to pin the Chargers back deep in their own end. Angling toward the near sideline. He hits the ball well. Into the end zone, out to the 20. And San Diego starts out first and 10 after a 45-yard punt into the end zone. 7:29 left to go in the first overtime period. San Diego and Miami at 38 all in a most amazing game. If you joined us late, Don Coryell saw his San Diego Chargers jump off to an astounding 24-0 first quarter lead over Miami. The Dolphins appeared gone, but by halftime they'd rallied back and trailed only 24-17. Then they rallied back and tied the game. Then San Diego went ahead 31-24. Then Miami came back and tied it 31 all. Then the Dolphins took the lead for the first time 38-31. But after a Miami fumble, San Diego tied it to send it to overtime. James Brooks can't hold it. Dolphins closing in on the ball. To rule a forward pass.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's just alert play by Bo Camper. You never know. I've seen plays where it looked like it was a forward pass. The ball was laying on the ground. Nobody claimed it. And finally, the official blew the whistle. So make sure the whistle stops your play. Nothing else.
People weren't on the edge of their seats at the outset when San Diego blew away the Dolphins early in the game, including a 54-yard punt return by Wes Chandler for a touchdown. But they are now. Most of them are standing at the Orange Bowl. Bob stands in. Second and 10. He throws. Eric Sievers can't hold on. It's third down and 10.
Boy, Kozlowski almost came up with a big interception. Very good coverage of Sievers. Fouts had to really thread it. Didn't have anybody open. Another third downer.
Dan Fouts, who's pumped that right arm today, record numbers for a playoff game. 29 of 49 for 359 yards. Kevin Winslow not that long ago, and he went out. Right back in there now. Third down and 10. Third and 10. Here's the rush. Somehow he gets away. Not for long. Yes, he does. He's going to run. He might get a first down. He's short.
I tell you, that was for a man that can't move around. as fine a movement as you'll ever see getting out of a real trap. Comes up about 1.5 yards short of the first down.
He had more moves than step and fetch it here. Look at him.
Well, his offensive lineman kept contact with the defense, but Faust just made great movement. Every time he made a move, it was in the right direction. Finally got out, had no receivers open, tried to pick up the first down, got a little help from Brooks. Good play by Walker.
George Roberts will now punt it back to Miami. The ex-Dolphin standing inside his 15. Gets the ball not very deep. Vigorito fields it on the run. Turns the corner. Vigorito's across midfield, and he's down to the 45-yard line. Tommy Vigorito, the rookie from Virginia, returns a 31-yard punt, 13 yards.
Don, he caught that ball on the dead run. I think 3 out of 4 punt returners would have let it bounce. He never even thought of that. He took off as soon as the ball was kicked. It was kicked short. He picked it up, got behind his wall, and puts him in great position again. Third time in a row, San Diego's defense has been up against it. Haven't allowed a first down previous 2.
We've now played almost 9 minutes of overtime. 6:15 left to go in the first overtime period. Miami working with a wind at the Dolphins' back. First and 10. Strock takes a look. He's got a problem. Gets it away. Man's open. The ball is caught at the 25-yard line. Jimmy Cephalo.
There wouldn't have been a man in the house that would have defended Strock. They just said, why try to make a great situation out of a bad one? However, games are also won that way. I can remember Stabler doing it on his way down when Oakland beat Miami a while back. Strock makes a great throw, fine reception, in certain field goal range.
Second back throw is Tony Nathan. He drives the ball down to the 20. John, if they might not try to work it right down into the end zone.
Well, the way the ball game's been going, I'm sure it has an effect on other people's thoughts. Primarily Shula.
2 missed field goals. One was tipped the last time. Miami might just try to power the ball all the way down and into the end zone. Don Strock has thrown 42 times, completed 28 for 397 yards. And Shula and his staff's credit, they've kept Andre Franklin in the game. He was the up back blocking on the last play. He's still in there, the young man who fumbled earlier. And the ball went the other way and ended up in the Miami end zone on the drive. And here is Tony Nathan down to the 17-yard line. Third down coming up, third and about 2. Uwe von Schaumann checking things out. I don't know if he's meditating or in a trance or just waiting for the finger to point near the kicking team call.
What he's doing now is almost immaterial. What he's going to have to do in about 30 seconds.
Time's no factor. Nope. God almighty. We're in overtime and they keep on playing. That's the time of the first overtime period.
3 tight ends.
Louis Kelcher makes the tackle. Short of the first down, and here comes the Dolphins field goal unit once again.
It's the big people that make the big plays at the critical times. Louis Kelcher on just great penetration, stops the ball short of a first down to keep him with some chance anyway.
That was Andre Franklin they gave the ball to on that play. And so, with the ball spotted now at the 17-yard line, we're going to have about a 34-yard field goal attempt straight away when we come back.
Hey, that looked rough.
Yeah, but I like to finish when I start. Shaving every day is rough, too, so I use Skin Bracer. I know I haven't finished shaving until I do. It's not cologne. It's skincare that feels good.
Back at the Orange Bowl. 3:42 remains now in the first overtime period. And again, we have a chance for a game ender. Uwe von Schaumann, you recall, his last field goal attempt was tipped by Kellen Winslow. Now he's trying. It's going to be a 35-yard attempt from the 25. Snap, set down, all good. The block. We keep playing, folks. It's blocked again. And the Chargers come up with the ball at their 16-yard line. Coach Coryell, he's probably numb.
Well, I don't know how you can, you've got a game locked up about 4 times each way. I guess there may be a reconsideration. I think Winslow blocked that one, too.
He's not getting up right now, John.
Oh, he's just left everything out there. Let's take a look at the kicker. The ball is spotted properly. It never really gets up in the air. I think Von Schaman hit the dirt before he hit the ball, slid through it. Not the way to lift it. Here's a man that's left it all out there today.
These guys have run themselves into butter. Kellen Winslow playing one of the great games of his brief but great career at San Diego. He's up.
He's played a lot of great ones, too.
He's ready to go right back in to take him out for at least a play. So we've now gone 11 and a half minutes into overtime.
We get the message, Don, that Leroy Jones blocked it. Whoever did it, I don't think it would have gone in anyway.
I think somebody's belt buckle could have blocked that when it took off pretty low.
Yeah.
So the ball is just across the 15-yard line, and the San Diego Chargers start out again in an overtime game. Dan Fouts brings the offense back out. He wants to get it downfield, obviously, to get in field goal range and try to end it again. If
I'm not sure he'd settle for that, pal. That doesn't seem to be the clue or the key.
Once that ball goes up in the air, though, it's a lot of guys looking after it. There's been only 1 interception each way in this game. Fouts has thrown 49 times, has given up only 1 interception. And Don Strock has thrown 42 times, and he has only had 1 intercepted. The odds are, if they keep pitching, going to have another pickoff. They've got to get it down the field, and Dan Fouts, who broke records this year. 340 completions, an NFL record, 4,800 yards, a record, 33 touchdown passes coming into today. In the flat, here's James Brooks. Miami closes in, and the knockdowns at the 22-yard line.
The sort of screen pass they love to throw when the defense is off. Let's take one more look, see if we can pinpoint who it was that blocked it. Number 68 is Leroy Jones. He's one of that mass in the middle.
Never got to Winslow. He went to the moon to get it. Somebody got it up front. Well, Leroy Jones is 6'8".
If they say it was Leroy, I'll go for that.
We'll go with that. Von Schaman hoping there'll be a next one. The last double overtime in the playoffs was in December 24th, 1977, when Oakland beat Baltimore 37-31. Fouts throws downfield, and Wes Chandler turns out and makes the reception across the 30-yard line. Out to the 31. So San Diego, with need of a lot of yards to get in field goal range, moves on with 4 new downs. We've played over 12 minutes of overtime here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. Don Criqui with John Brody in this AFC Divisional Playoff game. There is more tomorrow on NBC as the Buffalo Bills take on the Bengals at Cincinnati. NFL 81 begins with the pregame show at 12:30. Here's a throw. Severs goes for the ball but can't get to it.
Tell you, but Blackwood could.
Yep. Almost there. It's 2nd down and 10 for San Diego.
Every play is so critical.
Everyone absolutely spent on that playing field.
We see John Cappelletti and Jim Brooks in the backfield. Muncie has not returned to the action. Glenn Edwards.
Chuck Muncie, who lost a fumble that seemingly set Miami in position to win it with a field goal. Was slow getting up after the hit, and he's not come back, and now Fouts takes a look, throws hard. Wes Chandler goes up in the air, and it looks like he came down with the ball. He did at midfield. Oh, Wes Chandler goes up, catches it, is hammered, and goes down and holds the ball, an 18-yard gain, and a Charger first down as they come out quickly to attend to West Chandler.
It appears as though the wind got knocked out. I know he got the ball stuck right in his stomach.
2:25 remaining in the first overtime period. We'll be back.
I have a headache. And aspirin.
In a game of standout plays, West Chandler certainly made one a moment ago for San Diego, going up in the air, catches this 18-yard pass, takes a tremendous hit, goes down and holds on. It's a first down for the Chargers in overtime. We played 13 minutes of overtime football. 38-38 the numbers. Fouts takes a look, dancing, looking to get away. Long throw downfield. Charlie Joyner has the ball. He's not done yet. Inside the 10, he's down to the stand and knocked down at the 10-yard line as he cut back and back outside the 10. And now the Chargers have a point-blank field goal attempt coming up if they so select. A 40-yard gain on that play.
Now Charlie Joyner's down. Hey, if there are any questions on anybody's mind about how the offensive line is protecting for Dan Fouts, when you know they're tired, both sides are tired, they're holding people off, giving Fouts enough chance to get down to his secondary, to his receivers in the secondary. About 430 some odd yards for the day for Dan.
And John, there's been virtually no holding calls on either offensive line.
No, there haven't. That's about. I don't think they're going to elect to go for a field goal right here. But I think I'm wrong.
They're certainly going to think about it.
No, they just sent Rolfe in the ball game, so let's have another whack at it.
Well, the line of scrimmage is the 11. Be a 28-yarder. This one might do it, but we've caught that before, haven't we?
Sure, a little wind in his face, going from his right to the left.
Ed Luther holds. It is up, and the game is over. The San Diego Chargers win with almost 14 minutes of overtime played. A 29-yard field goal by Rolfe Benershka. And the Chargers move on to the AFC Championship game.
I tell you, Don, I don't know what you can say. It was seen. You have 3 field goals that were missed that 9 out of 10 times both those kickers would make. Finally, the offense ran up and down the field long enough, get a final field goal attempt and make it. Dan Fouts, I think, played one of the most courageous ball games I've ever seen a quarterback play. His whole offense is to be lauded. They played against a great Miami defense. Gave Benershka a chance to get back in good stead with his teammates, and they go on to the championship game.
The San Diego Chargers go to the championship games. What a great ending here at the Orange Bowl in Miami. We'll be back.
I have a headache.